Are you Terry Hardin, Walt Disney's legendary Imagineer here, and I probably should just say that I'm going to start at 9:35. I talked to the people of Terry's Tribe. That's my Patreon page. I do that every Friday and Monday before I come and talk to you guys. And for some reason, we've had a lot to talk about, and I've been a little slow. So I feel better late than never. It's the weekend. Yesterday, I went to Disneyland. The park was not too crowded, except for in areas where little children needed to be, like Fantasyland, looked like a brick of people. You kind of peeled them, off. So I didn't spend much time in Fantasyland. I'm finding out that I'm not real good with blocks of people, especially since 85% were not wearing masks. I wore a mask the whole time. Just my thing, guys. Okay. One of the things that I had read about was that the common cold was because we had been in masks all the time, that the common cold, people were catching the common cold at a significant, exaggerated rate. And I thought to myself, well, hey, I don't have time to be sick at all, so I'll wear a mask. I learned that in China, and I think that's a great idea. So I had a very festive mask. Went to see one of the people of my tribe at Disneyland and spend the day with him for his special birthday, number 25. It was fun. We had a great time, and I got to ride the tram from the structure, which is one of my favorite things. Okay, before the pandemic, I didn't realize other places you could park. I didn't care to know them. Not that it's bad, but I just love the parking structure, and it was great to get back in the parking structure yesterday and ride the tram in. But I was fully masked. And so I am Terry Hardin, Walt Disney's legendary Imagineer. I've done Ghostbusters, Men in Black, and you're saying those aren't Disney films. I also did the Country Bears, worked on the Country Bears, played Big Al and Trixie, the facial things with the Jim Henson Company, because I am a Jim Henson Muppeteer. I've been a Disney Imagineer since 1987. 1987 and 97, I was in-house as an Imagineer. And then after that, I became the come here, get away Imagineer, an independent contractor as an Imagineer. And they call me when they need me, and then they put me back in the box when they don't. And it works out for both of us very, very well. Today is Ask Me Anything Friday, so you are welcome to post in the comments anything that you might want to ask me about my background, about my history, how did I get started, what was it like to be a little mixed girl at a time when there were black water fountains and white water fountains. I am a person of color. My mom and dad, my mom is white, my dad is black. They are pioneers. They fell in love in 1956, and I was born in 1957. If you can't do the math, that makes me almost 65 years old. So that's it in a nutshell. If you want to know more, Google my name, Terry Hardin, or join us in the tribe. You knew it was coming. Here it comes. Join us on my Patreon page, patreon.com/Terry Hardin. For as little as $5 a month, $60 a year, less than a Starbucks cup of coffee, or maybe less than your gas, you can come and join us. I do a broadcast every Monday and Friday before this, and we have a live Zoom call where we all get to chat about whatever's on our mind, questions you may have about moving forward, doing what you love, no matter what that is, or sharing what you love, no matter what that is. And it's not all amazing art, but I will tell you there are amazing artists in there. So fantastic, supercalifragilistic, cool. And I hope you will join us, add your voice to it. If you are an upbeat person, or you need that kind of injection of positive energy, and we continue to help each other realize their worth. Okay, because you may want to do what you love, but be too afraid to take that first step, just for whatever reason. Maybe there's a voice in your head that says you're not worthy, and you are. You're a human being, and that's a very special thing to be. So that tribe does all kinds of stuff. That Zoom call has all kinds of fun stuff we talk about. I think the last time we chatted about food, I think, because we have some chefs in there, And Evan Hunter's birthday was yesterday, and he does some amazing cooking. I keep saying he needs a channel where he shares with people, perhaps a Patreon page where we can follow him and learn new recipes. We're all urging him, trying to figure out ways that he might monetize this brilliance that he has. So it's things like that we do. You know, it's not all that. We also have a treasure chest. We do spotlights, which spotlight you and what you do. And so it's a great gathering place. It's a great community. I didn't originally plan it that way. Honestly, I was drafted into having a Patreon page, and I'm grateful now that my dear friend Michelle Tate did that, because I wait with bated breath for every Wednesday to get to chat with my friends and the tribe, Terry's tribe. So go there. Please go here. Check it out. 2 new members did, and I want to welcome you. One of them is Wesley. And Wesley, if you happen to catch this broadcast, go and ask to be a part of the Facebook page, and I'll open the gates and you can come in. Okay. And we'll do that. And yeah, so there it is. Advertising over. Also, gotta let you know that I just want to again say that on May 14th, I'm being honored by the Disney Anna Fan Club International as a Disney legend. And I'd like you to come to the dinner. If you want to come to the dinner May 14th in the evening, or come for the day, go to DisneyAnnaFanClub.org, I think is what they told me the website was. And check out the tickets and come. You're also going to get to see Bob Gurr. And those of you who know Bob Gurr, he's a Disney legend, and he did the monorail and the Utopia cars and all kinds of cool stuff. And he's a dynamic, wonderful, sparkly speaker. So you don't really want to miss him on Saturday afternoon. And then you'll also get to hear, you guys can tell me. All of a sudden, I just spaced on him. Garner Holt. There it is. Thank you, Lord. Garner Holt, who did the Fantasmic show, among other things, for Disney Now. And you'll get the chance to hear what he has to say and what he does and how he does it and how many people and all kinds of stuff like that. So it's a great Saturday. Sunday will be the show and sale. So if you can't make Saturday, or you want to just come to the dinner and then go to the show and sale, you are more than welcome to do that. Show and sale, you can go to that website, click on it, and they have a coupon that makes it about $7 to get in. One of the tribes said today, or not today, but said earlier, it's about $7 to get in and see collectors collect and gather and sell to other collectors. And they all seem to have a specialty. Some like figurines, some like plush, some like pins, some like all of the above. I remember there was a lady, and I don't know if she's still there. She used to have all the Hawaiian shirts available that Disney used to put out, but I haven't seen that Disney's put out a great deal of those anymore. But super, super adorable. A great group of people. I'll be there. Those of you who ordered the Cheshire Cat, he is running a little bit late, but he will be coming this month. So hold on. I will reach out to you as soon as I get them. They are en route to me. So once we gather, I have to look them over. I have to make sure everything is to my specs, because I'm picky. And then all hand painted, all hand sculpted, all beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And you can go to TerriHarden.com, go to online store, and check out what I've got there. But the Cheshire Cat is among the critters I have there. Okay. All righty. Okay. Advertising over. We're going to go over here and discuss this Moon Knight. Did you see it? You may be, if you know me, surprised that I even know that this is on. But my husband is a Marvelite. Now, the surprising thing about Moon Knight on this one, and make your comments and your questions in here while we do a little chat here. But happy Friday. I'm sure those of you who are working really hard are glad to see Friday coming and maybe have a nice weekend planned. I think I'd like to sit on a chaise lounge and read a book. I haven't done that. And I gathered with some other artists in Patreon, other artists who have pages and stuff. And one of the things that I kept saying is you've got to give yourself, and I want to say it to you now, if you're an artist or an entrepreneur and you're always hustling, which I am, you've got to give yourself time to rest. And I mean really rest. Do something other than what you always do. I know that if you're out there doing what you love, you just do it and do it, do it. But sometimes you need to chill. Or if you find you need to chill, there may be people out there, I don't want to put this on you, that you don't relax, because you may already have this relaxation down, or what you do may be relaxing and you go, I don't need to. And that's fine too. But if you're someone who feels guilty that you're not constantly in motion, then this is a time to take a couple minutes, an hour, 2 hours, a day, a couple days, to just kind of do something different, like sit on a Chase lounge and read a book, is what I'd really love to do. I've got a book that I read little chapters, beep, 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 right? And so it takes me forever to read a book, but I like to read, and it has to be a book. I'm not good with this. Tablets or pads, I don't like it. But I'm an old dog. I'm almost 65. So I like a book. I love the smell of a book, the feel of a book, the sound of a book. And so I have this book that I'm reading about one of my clients' dads who was on a Navy ship, and I'm loving it. It's cute because, when it's something about your parents, sometimes as a child you go, oh, man. But it's a really good book, and I'm really enjoying reading it. But it's taking a long time because I read a chapter. I can't necessarily, I'd like to read a chapter when I get up, and a chapter when I go before I go to sleep. But I'm only able to do the go to sleep because I'm jumping up first thing in the morning. I don't know why. I can't sit still enough. So I do a gratitude journal. I have about, I say I'm thankful for whatever. And then I do a gratitude journal at night. Thank you for all of the blessings that you have bestowed upon me, type thing. It's really good because it puts your mind in a good, it puts your mind in a good place before you go to sleep. And it puts your day in a good place after you wake up. It's just a gratitude journal. What are you thankful for? And then at night, I'll read first and then do the journal, because I like the journal to be just before I go to bed. But you can do it any way you want. I could highly recommend a gratitude journal. It's a great way just to make you feel better if you're not feeling really good. Maybe the day went bad. And I had a really crazy day on Wednesday. It just was an insane day. It was a day where I spent most of my time in a Zoom type environment, and I couldn't understand why I was there. Why was I in this constant? I don't know how it happened. And so the computer kind of makes me sleepy. So I was like, uh-oh, I gotta do something today that's not in front of here. And so I did. My mind was kind of like a freeway. So I said, okay, I'm going to open my gratitude journal in the middle of the day and just use it to settle. You could say it's a form of meditation. However, if you like my husband and the word meditation makes you ill, you just think it's too guru-y, woo-woo-y, as my husband says, a bit too woo-woo, then say it's just a minute to resettle yourself, to reset yourself, so that you've got all wheels on the ground. Let me just say it like that. You can say anywhere you want, as long as it helps you to kind of stabilize, right? And I have lots of projects that are due and need attention, have deadlines coming up, and all of a sudden you're like, here they come, and sometimes you'll get this kind of anxiety, panic kind of thing. So it's really a great way. Just what are you thankful for? Like these jobs, or what are you thankful for? My husband, my dog, my home, my life, you guys, especially you guys. Just it calms you, a cup of tea and a gratitude journal. I'm too wired to read a book in the middle of the day. It just doesn't work. But the whole day, if I just give myself a day, and my husband and I usually take Sunday, which is a family day, to do it. But our family day this time, we're going to go to the Academy Museum. We're members. And so we're going to go to the Academy Museum and see it. We have a member appreciation day. So we're going to go to the Academy and check it out. It's got a Miyazaki exhibit. It's got costumes on exhibit. It does it the way the Academy does it. And I'm not talking about the show. I'm talking about the museum. So I'm very, very excited. The show was a real, it's in the news now. It's in the spotlight, and probably a lot of people will watch it next year just to hope for another crash and burn situation as they had last time. As I touch on that, Chris Rock's shows are selling out at and people are paying $1,000 a ticket because of the incident. So lucky him. While Will Smith is on the other end of that, and we don't know exactly what's going to happen for him. But all around, it's a shame. It just shouldn't have happened, and I'm sorry it did, and overshadowed so much of the rest of the show. You can't lose your head like that. You especially if you're someone in a power position, and actors, y'all put actors on a pedestal. Y'all put us all on a pedestal, and we have to realize that that pedestal is made of clay, and it's so easy to destroy a reputation and so hard to keep it. So you have to have your game face on when you're in public. Sidney Poitier, who I had the pleasure of meeting in Venice one time while finishing up my breast cancer walk training. I did the breast cancer walk from Santa Barbara to Malibu, the 60-mile walk that you do over 3 days. And I was training when my friend saw Sidney Poitier, and I said, we got to go talk to him. And while we were talking to him, I always ask people that I admire so much. Sidney Poitier was in a film called Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. And as a little girl, you may remember Whoopi saying that she saw Star Trek and she loved when she saw Lieutenant Uhura because she yelled to her mother, "Oh my God, there's a black woman on TV, Mom, and she ain't no maid." And for Whoopi, this was a big aha moment for her. Well, my little girl moment was Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, because it's about a young, beautiful white girl who falls in love with a very handsome and lovely black man, and how it upsets the apple cart of both parents. And my parents, my mother is white and my dad is black. And so as a little girl, I loved seeing what might be what my parents went through. It was movie style of it, but they both loved each other and could only see each other. And they always throw out this one thing. It's like so old, it's got hair on it, people say, right? It is, you're going to destroy the children. You're going to destroy the children. What about the kids? The kids aren't going to be of either camp. And it's just not true. If you are beautiful beings, which my mom and dad are, beautiful, loving beings, beautiful, tolerant beings. They taught me to be tolerant. They taught me to have a sense of humor, and they taught me to be the best person that I can be. And that's what my father says you got to do. Okay. And that was not it. So, striking someone. And when I was a little girl, in my day, we got into scraps. Okay. We actually got into little knockdown, drag out fights. But my mother always told me that I should not hit anyone unless I was being hit. Then I could hit them. So basically the rule was, if they hit you first, you can hit them back. You can retaliate if you want. And I know that that particular incident, he did not want to hit Will Smith back. That was not in his mind at all. He is a comedian, and his weapon is his tongue. That is what he does best. And let's talk about it. You don't want to be on the receiving end of Chris Rock, no matter who you are, because it's that kind of cutting humor. Don Rickles, the same. You know who they are, guys. You go to see these people because you like the dissing that they do on certain characters, because their eye sees it differently. And it's the way he is. And if you're in their sights, you're in their sights, and you gotta just let it go. Okay, let it sail over, and maybe you comment after, or maybe you react differently. But he did not want the facial expressions that you saw on Chris, was that his earwig, that's a thing that's in your ear so that the control tower can speak to you, was don't say anything, don't say anything. And that movement that you see him doing is because he wants to cut, he wants to let that tongue loose and slash, and he does actually with his comment. And then they're all telling him, that's it, just don't say anymore. And he's really benefiting from restraint, the extreme restraint that he did. So that's all I'm going to say on that. Let's get to the thumbnail. Moon Knight. Did you see it? I'm not going to talk about it, except for that my husband, who's a Marvelite, has no idea who this character is. I always like to watch these things with my husband because I am one big question mark. Okay, now who's this? Okay, what about this guy? Tell me about this guy. Tell me about this guy. So the new one that's coming out, was it released today or it's going to be released the 7th? The guy, what do you call him? Mobius? My husband's going to tell me, you got to tell me Mobius. You guys tell me that are Marvelites. I know I'm pronouncing it wrong. I said, what is it about this guy? And my husband could tell me about this guy. Okay. But the Moon Knight, so we're both watching it unfold. And the first episode was completely confusing. But we've got another one coming up next Wednesday, and we'll be tuning in because it looks interesting so far. I am not a Marvel person, so it's 50-50 with me. You got a 50-50 chance of me staying. But in the case of WandaVision, my husband had to explain to me who Wanda was. Okay, because people were telling me were saying Scarlet Witch, and then they were saying Wanda. And I said, well, which is she? And people were like, she's both. I don't understand. So then my husband explained to me that there was a Marvel movie, Age of Ultron, where she was introduced and she had a brother. And I was like, oh, yeah, they were really sweet. And oh, I thought they were cool. They were bad and then they were good. My husband says, yeah, they're the ones. So he has to kind of help remind me because this is not my thing. And I wanted to know who the red guy was. Okay, so WandaVision, you've got Wanda, and then you've got this red guy. Who's the red guy? And my husband would say Vision. And I'd say, is he a robot? And my husband would say, no. And I'd say, well, what is he? You know, and so then my husband had to explain because not my, okay. If you ask me a little bit about Michelangelo, who is my favorite artist, I can tell you about him, okay? If you want to talk to me about Dr. Tezuka, the actual father of anime, I can tell you about him. And you may be going, huh? What? Because it may not be your thing, right? Movies. I can tell you about a lot of movies. I'll tell you about some incredible movies. I was talking the other day about Humoresque, which is a black and white movie with Joan Crawford. And she is introduced and later falls in love with a violinist, a concert violinist, or a violinist who is a passionate violinist, and she helps make him a concert violinist. And the actor who plays that cannot play the violin a stitch. And you cannot train an actor unless, I used to play the violin, so this is a very unique set of muscles. So you might be able to get him to play, but he's not going to go from zero to concert in the time it's going to take to do a movie. So they hired a concert violinist. And in some sequences when they went to shoot it, which makes this movie so interesting, which is why you should watch it, it's black and white. So if black and white offends, then, I don't know what to tell you because black and white is amazing. But my favorite way to watch things is black and white. I just think it's more challenging when you only have one color value that you have to figure out how to make it interesting. And they always do such a great job as in film noir, right? Anyway, this movie, they want to make this actor look like he is a concert pianist, and they don't have CG, computer generated. We don't have that. We have practical, meaning you got to figure it out physically, okay? So there's one sequence where he is playing, and one violinist is doing the fingering on the strings, while the other is using the bow. So you've got, just like puppeteers, behind, the actor goes like this, and they come in from each side. Think about the coordination on this, guys. This guy has got to finger a certain way while this has to, okay? All this has to look believable. It's incredible. You got to see it. Most of the time, they'll have a violinist be the stand-in or over the back. Then the violinist will be doing it both. But there's one sequence where it was just too wide of a shot for the one concert violinist to do this. So they and the score is beautiful. So Humoresque, I think it's QUE at the back as opposed to S, whatever. I'm not the best speller, as many of you has pointed out before. So I appreciate when you correct my terrible spelling, which I'm getting better at. Up until now, I was a horrible speller, but because of spell check and because of people like you who help me, I spell better. My husband as well. That's you can ask me why, because in the 7th grade, I no longer took classes, I had an English teacher. I had her for a couple of years. And instead of taking the classes, I drew posters about the importance of, I illustrated posters. Listen to this carefully now. I illustrated posters as a young girl about the importance of learning all about English, and never took English. I thought it was cool at the time, but now I've suffered for it. So there you go. How ironic is that? So yes, so Moon Knight came along, and I thought my husband would know. He would just tell me about this character, and my husband says, I don't know this character at all. So we're both taking the journey now. We're strapping ourselves in, and we're waiting for the coaster to take us over the limited series on Disney Plus. And I'm excited to see the next one because I have no clue. After I watched the first one, I'm like, the character, what the heck's going on? You know? So I'll probably catch the first episode and swing into the second so that I can keep my attention span, because I really don't know what's going on. But I'm super excited. If you haven't seen it, or you're not a Marvelite, take the ride with me. I mean, you know, we may afterwards say, you know, and of course it's this what my husband calls the multiverse. I saw a little bit of it in the last Spider-Man No Way Home, I think it was called. And I love that movie where all three, you know, where the Spider-Men show up. And I don't think I'm spoiling it if you haven't seen the Spider-Man movie, because that's in the previews. So there's that. And I did see the Batman. I admired that they did something completely new and different with the Batman. And, but it was a bit too long, as my husband told me, about 30 minutes too long. He's an Emmy award-winning editor, cameraman, producer, blah, 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 for a major film company. And he yeah, he said a bit too long, could have been tightened up. And then he said where it should have ended. And I agreed. So, you know, those of you who loved it, please post in the comments and tell me. But we don't have to be particular. We don't have to be specific. But Batman has been out for a while. The reason we waited so long to see it is because of the pandemic. My husband is high risk, so we go when there's about 6 people in the theater. This time there were 12 in a giant theater, so it was perfect. And we had a movie night, and 12 people. The reason there were 12 people is because if you're an AMC member, you can go for $6 Tuesdays. So I think it's like $6.50 now, but for $6.50 you can see the movie. So we both saw it for $13, and it was great. We bought a lot of concessions because we heard that theaters are struggling because people aren't buying concessions. So we want to support our local movie theater, and we don't go a lot because we get what's called screeners. Because I'm a member of the Screen Actors Guild, and my husband a member of the Academy. So he's a production designer. So we get a lot of movies coming in for us to view. So we don't spend a lot of time in the theater. What'll happen is before the pandemic, we would watch it and go, this really feels like a big screen movie. And then we'd shoot over and see it on the big screen. But most of them, including Coda, which was the winner this year, is fine on the screen because it was a streaming independent film that went through Apple Plus. And so it was kind of designed for a screen. It's probably very wonderful on the big screen, but we saw no need. And I love to watch that over and over again. I think it is a brilliant movie. As I said before, it's the winner that I chose. So there you go. There's my Moon Knight thing. My husband had to tell me, is it Moon? You know, because I did a thing with Michael Jackson called Moonwalker. So I was like, is it Moonwalker? And he's like, no, Terry, that's the Michael Jackson thing. It's Moon Knight with a K. So I was like, okay. So he helps me not offend you guys who are Marvel and really know this. I'm opening myself up to the education. And I think you're welcome to talk in the comedy in the comments. Comedy right now. You're welcome to talk in the comments if you wish about the origin of this character. I'm more than happy to hear about it if you're a Marvelite. Okay, that's what I call people who are really into Marvel. And my husband is not a super Marvelite like many of you, but for example, he wanted to see Endgame. I always call it End Gamers or something like it. Ender's Game is what I call it. And he goes, no, that's Endgame. I didn't like it. It's too many. I don't like a lot of villains. I don't like, the smorgasbord of villains, throw in everything but the kitchen sinks movies with villains or movies with characters. I just don't like it. I can't focus. But it did have Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy, and he's my favorite. I've actually fell in love with this character, named my dog, who looks like that character after him. So he was in it, so that kept me going. But I always get we always get the movie theater seats with the lounge chairs, so that if it's something that doesn't interest me, I just go to sleep. I bring a blanket and I just go to sleep, and my husband can watch it, and then he wakes me when it's over, and I go on, because if it's too much overload for me, just not my thing. But why should he suffer? Okay, he comes and sees movies that I like, which is just about every animation film on the planet, good or bad. I've got to watch it. So sometimes he's yay, sometimes he's nay. Like, for example, Turning Red, I had to watch it from start to finish. He did not like it at all, and suffered through it with me. So we love each other very much. We give each other 100%. This is the sign of a good relationship, and that means you struggle through movies that you might not. Those men who are always being dragged to rom-coms, but now rom-coms. Sorry, I didn't enunciate at the end. But you do this for the person you love, and then they do the action film for you, if that, and vice versa. Whatever your thing is, we don't love everything, but we love the person we're with, so we help them out. And I want to, when he started showing me this multiverse thing, my eyes started to cross, and I was like, oh. He was like, calm down. I'll walk you through it. I'll help you through it. So we went and saw the Spider-Man movie, and I absolutely loved it. And it actually was told in a way for someone like me to actually understand. And my husband said, did you have any questions on it? I said, no, so far I'm liking it. And this new one with Doctor Strange, I'm clear on that there's good Doctor Strange and there's evil Doctor Strange. And all I could think of being an actor is what fun for Cumberbatch. You see, I go right there. Cumberbatch must have had a ball being his pro self and his con self, right? So all I could think of is it's going to be fun to watch Cumberbatch play those two roles, even if the movie sucks. This is me. Okay, not you. Okay, but that's the way it is. So that is kind of my opening to Ask Me Anything. Let's pop over to the comments, see what you have to say. It's Friday. Congratulations. Thank you for joining me. You're welcome to talk to me about the weekend. You're welcome to talk to me about just about anything. Okay, don't feel like it has to be topical. Doesn't have to be. Just remember, if you end up debating in the comments or with me, don't get personal. Don't attack my character or another person's character. Just state your case, because there's no one that is as much like me loves a good debate. Okay, loves a good debate. You can start that debate by saying how much you love the episodes 1, 2, and 3, the Phantom Menace, and those terrible Star Wars films, how much you love them, and then we'll get into a debate, because I am all about the Star Wars films that happened between 1977 and 1980. And, Empire Strikes Back is my favorite, and I am known as the Star Wars girl because of those films. I did some crazy stuff, so I get you guys out there. Those of you who love Disney, love Marvel, dress up, cosplay, do all some crazy stuff with your stuff, reenactment and everything. I was there with my Star Wars stuff back in the 70s. And in 77 through 80, I stood in line for 3 days to see Empire Strikes Back and fought every single day because they almost took me to jail. I nearly starved, and they tried to throw, it's just amazing story. And you're welcome to ask about it, and I'll talk about it. But basically, I get you. And I think those of you who maybe don't think you'll be watching my channel, and by the way, please subscribe if you're digging this. But I don't think you're going to be you might be a sports fan if you're watching my channel, but those people who don't really get a Disney fan, a Star Wars fan, a fantasy fan, a D&D fan, et cetera, you guys, the sports people kind of look at you and go, what is the matter with you? You need to grow up. I mean, they're still the same people that wear spikes on their shoulders at a football game or paint their face in half for their teams. It's the same thing, just a different subject, isn't it? So the next time they start dissing you, if you know they have something that they really dig, then just say it's the same thing. It's just a different subject. So back off, Jack, leave me alone, because this is my thing. This is where the waters I like to swim in. Okay. And don't insult my character. I love Disney. I love Looney Tunes. I love animation, comics, whatever you love, right? I love collecting popsicle sticks. Whatever it is, it's your bit, right? And someone else out there is doing something else. They're collecting coins, or they're doing watching football games and basketball games, which are not my jam. Absolutely not my jam. We have a family day every Sunday, and my family, especially, it's my husband's side of the family. His father is the great Keith Jackson of college football. Now, some of you may say, "Ooh, Google him, guys." Okay, he passed away a few years ago. He's an amazing man. He has a statue at the Rose Bowl. He is Mr. Rose Bowl. An amazing game. He was loved by so many. My father said that he's the best football game caller ever because he stays out of it when he's supposed to stay out of it. You want to watch the game. I only understand that a little bit because I'm not sports minded. But they are. His family is. Now, my husband is not a sports guy, but his family is. And when we get on these calls, they all talk about teams, basketball teams, baseball teams, football teams, and they're surprised that we're quiet. Well, they're not surprised my husband's quiet, but they're very surprised that I don't say anything because I'm always saying something, aren't I? I'm always talking, aren't I? Yes. So they say, "Terry, you're so quiet." And I go, "Because I don't know what you're talking about." So it's best to listen when you don't understand, these teams, and the Cinderella team versus the closest I got was the Rams. And that's because, they were, they're a California team, and my whole black half of my family is about the Rams football. Well, my cousin likes the Raiders. I had to think a minute. And I'm friends with the Lopez brothers, who were both on a team called the Milwaukee Bucks. But I understand now that one of the brothers is now on a different team. But Robin and I and his brother, we all met at a charity event, and I absolutely fell in love with them as human beings. And then they had to tell me they were famous basketball players. I didn't know, because I'm not in the sports world. I figured they should be playing basketball. I smiled at them and said, "You should play basketball." They said, "We do." "Professionally?" They said, "Yes." I said, "Wow, you really found your calling." They're really super tall. You know what I mean? They're adorable. They're both so, so cute. It's Brooke and Robin. Yeah? Yeah. And they love Disney. They love animation. And that's how we met. And they are my friends. And they are so sweet, and they are so kind, and they are so generous, and they are so loving. And before the pandemic, I found my cousin said the Milwaukee Bucks were playing. This is before the pandemic started. It was January or February of 2020. It was March of 2020, early March, like March 6th, I think, of 2020, when Robin asked me if I'd like to have tickets. I said, "I hear you're playing at the Staples Center here in Southern California, and I wondered if I could see you play. Bear in mind, I don't understand basketball, but I wondered if you could get me a couple of tickets. I could take my cousin, who will just lose it, and my son will just lose it also." And he said, "Sure." So he got us tickets, and he got us tickets very close to the action. For me, okay, I had two very expert people to tell me about basketball. All I really wanted to see was the Lopez brothers. Anytime they came on, I cheered. Now, Robin did me a favor and put us in the Lakers section. So a lot of Lakers fans were not happy when I was cheering for the Bucks. But they granted me special dispensation because I said, "These are my friends. I'm here to see them play. I love them. I have no idea what the rest of this means, but anytime they come on, I'm going to cheer." And the other guys said, "We're Lakers fans, and we're giving her a break because she's here to see her friends play." And they're like, "Whoa," But I remember I saw this guy, and I don't know if I've told you this story, those of you who are sports fans, but I saw this guy with this really horrible beard, and they got really excited. It turned out to be LeBron James. And I said, "Did this guy own a razor?" So I am looking at things that mean nothing in the sport at all. But it was adorable. And then my highlight was that I got a really cool purple Lakers bag. And actually, I have an extra one. So if you write to me and say you'd like it, I'll try and get it to you. Okay, just message me or email me if you're someone who's a Lakers fan who would like to have it. I'll bounce it out to you because it's sitting in my I have one already. I like it because it's utilitarian. But if you're someone who got it, we got a bag that night. And also, when the Lakers win by so much, you get tacos. So I was sad my friends didn't win, but I was happy to get the tacos. So you can see where my priorities lied. But it was great. They had such a good time. They were so close. They could, see the players, recognize the players without, the fashion glasses or being up in the nosebleed seats. Robin and his brother, always so generous, so kind to me, always so very, very sweet, that I'm going to do a shout out to them once again and thank them both. And I think Brock had a birthday just the last couple of days, and Robin did a kind of a jokester gift or something. I don't know. Somebody sent it to me and I didn't understand it, but y'all do, right? Those of you who are in sports. But my point is, everybody has a reason to be a fan of something. So let's not judge people who are a fan or other things. Just, as long as it's not hurting anybody, and it makes them happy. And Disney fans are the happiest people on earth. Okay. So you may disagree, but they're the happiest. The Disney fans are what makes Disney so special. And the cast members make it special too. So those at the parks that are making your experience beautiful, they're wonderful. And so that's why. But my friend Evan Hunter had a friend who wrote a text that he thought was funny, but I didn't think was funny, because they kept saying, we got to get you out of this cult. They didn't use the word cult, but they were kind of like, we got to shake you. You got to get more adult, or whatever they said. I couldn't see anything because I really didn't like the text. It just was off-putting to me. But Evan, they were speaking to Evan. Evan was their friend, and Evan smiled and said, they always do this to me. But why would someone try to get you out of something that you love? Unless it's detrimental to your spirit and your soul. And being a Disney fan is not. It's very positive. And once in a while, you're going to find a curmudgeon-y Disney fan, but move along. As my horse trainer says, the person who trained me to be an excellent horseback rider, is there's too many good horses out there, so don't look for a bad one. See a bad one, move on. Yeah, mean one, move on. Just, there's so many good ones. Anyway, okay, let's get to what you have to say. I've chattered enough. Let's let you chatter now, and let's see what's going on today. Hello, Angie. Happy April 1st, April Fool's Day. Wah, wah. I want to stay inside because I really don't like to be the brunt of an April Fool's joke. Just doesn't. Years ago, when I was a kid in junior high, my two friends played one that hurt my feelings so bad, it took 2 weeks for me to recuperate. So, and they tried really hard to tell me it was a joke, and I wasn't having it. So, April Fools and me, we're not too happy with each other. So yeah. It's also why I don't have a dentist appointment on the 1st, because my dentist loves April Fools, and I get offended, and I don't know why. Well, I do know why, because of this incident that happened when I was a little girl. And sometimes emotions hit before reason does. So yeah, I'm not good with April Fools at all. So if it's a little something, fine. But if it's a big deal, some of these jokes can get really out of hand, in my opinion. So I don't want to do it. Okay. Diane says, a correction on something that I texted Monday. Chris Rock was diagnosed with nonverbal learning, or NVL, not the autism spectrum. Diane, thank you for doing that, because I mentioned before that I really don't look deep into the history of these people. I don't have a lot of time to do so. Also, digging deep into their lives is not necessarily my thing. Those of you who do, after I just talked about this, no judgment. It's just that it's nice to have someone like you, Diane, who explains to me your comment and then explains to me the correction. So good for you for coming back and doing that. I appreciate that. And yes, good morning. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah. We're good. Speaking of food, says Joe, I understand that the Blue Bayou restaurant currently separated from the Pirates of the Caribbean atmosphere by constructing a wall, but it's just temporary. I think you are correct. We did not eat at the Blue Bayou, but it's serving alcohol now. That's a little weird. But I don't know. I could ask my friend Keith because they went to the Blue Bayou yesterday and then we met up later. So I can ask them if that truly is the case, unless you know for real, Joe. But yes, it's only temporary because of the pandemic. Yeah, they've got to, you know how you can get close enough in the Blue Bayou restaurant that if the boat does a little, you can get splashed on. They don't want that happening to you during this time of the pandemic. Yeah. So, but thank you for that, because we didn't eat there. We ate yesterday I went to Disneyland, and I have to tell you, I'm finally maybe getting the hang of making appointments and stuff if you're a pass holder. But seriously, they're as complicated as the government trying to get an appointment. And I spoke with a young lady at my bank who has military tickets, special tickets for people in the military. And I told her she has to make an appointment. She's going to have to take that ticket and make an appointment. She just can't show up because they don't do that. They don't do this anymore, guys. You can't just show up there and get in unless there's room for you, and then you're going to do it mobily. It's a challenge is what it is. Yeah, it's a challenge. So don't just show up. In fact, this is what happened with my friend's birthday, Evan Hunter. He had a friend and she thought she could just pop in and buy a ticket at the booth, and they don't do that no more. So don't do that to yourself. Plan, make an appointment, get on this mobile. They have an app. Get on it. It's going to give you, or the website, but it's going to give you a small meltdown because it maybe some of you guys, it'll be a cakewalk. But for me, I have to have help. So my whole tribe helps me to book appointments because and then yesterday I was like, how do they know that I have parking? And how do they know that what do I do? And of course, Evan, the birthday man, had to tell me just pull up my pass, my annual pass on my phone, and then they'll blip it and they get all the information from there. So I was like, oh, thank God, because if it's any more than that, but it worked. You have parking, okay, you're cool. It was great to be in the parking structure. I missed it. I love being in the parking structure. It's just my thing. And love riding the tram in. And it was great to do that. It was great to do that yesterday. It was nothing but a big smile in my mask. Here I am, happy as a clam. And my mask will hide this so you can see it. Oops. Interesting about I kind of lost here we are. Speaking of food, that's the one we were supposed to be at. There we go. Now I'm back on track. But here I am, and look, I'm alone on the tram. I'm not totally alone. There's people a few ways up, but it was just awesome. It was awesome. I had a whole row to myself, and it was crowded later, but not too overly crowded. Fireworks, it was crowded. Whoa. And that's when I usually cut out because everybody's watching fireworks and I can get in. Less people again. Easy exit out of the parking structure. Easy to get home. So I always leave during fireworks. I mean, I can hear them as I'm in the tram and I can see them when I'm driving. So, I mean, I there are times I'll stay, especially if I have a hotel room. But if I cut it there, I don't have to, it just works out better for me. So there you go. I'm in my mask, my Jack Skellington mask, which I really love, and another one underneath, and ready to go. So it was a great day. Great day. Okay. What do you do with all the molds from your pieces, says Angie. If the molds are one of a kind, they are destroyed. I mean, let me say that again. If it's a limited edition, they're destroyed. But like parts, okay, so if you've purchased things like my Tinkerbell, tiptoeing across the map, let me see if I can find her so you can see her. Let's see if I can find my young lady. While we talk about it, it's really great if I can use examples of stuff. Yeah, here she is, but I don't have a close-up of her. Oh, yes, I do. Okay, so here I am, just so you kind of get the way things work when you are a Disney sculptor or artist. It can be different rows because each artist negotiates a different contract, and mine is different as well. But at this point, Tinkerbell Tiptoeing Across the Map was going to be offered in Disneyland for the 45th anniversary of Walt Disney. Better yet, just offered. Here's the signing. You'll notice my hair is really short here. But here's the signing. And there is my representative on my right. This is Linda Votas. She's the one who takes care of me when I was doing signings. This is at the Disney Gallery at Disneyland. And then on the other side is Liz Bradley. She is one of the Tinkerbell ladies and consultants that I consulted about Tinkerbell Tiptoeing Across the Map. And I'm signing it there. You'll see on the side there's paper. That's the certificate of authenticity. It's in the case. The one in the case is the actual mama, meaning the piece that I sculpt out of. So now I'm going to show you that. So here is the wax of Tinkerbell. I sculpt in wax, toy wax. You can ask me about that if you wish in the comments. And then here's the painted Tinkerbell. So here is Mama and Baby. And Disney created 2,500 of Tinkerbell Tiptoeing Across the Map. Okay. And then what happens is the mold is destroyed. We do not keep the mold because why? We are people of our word and we don't cheat. We always make sure that if we tell you it is limited to this, at least of my work, it is limited to that. So the molds are destroyed. Now, if you are a one-of-a-kind person and I do any molds, same thing. But in the case of Tinkerbell, I keep certain things available. Like my mold maker will cast hands, will cast feet, mainly because if she breaks, I want you to send her back to me so that I can repair her as if she wasn't broken. So we do sometimes have parts too, because ankles could break or wings tips could break off or whatever. And then I just fix them. Yeah. It's good if you keep those pieces, but that's kind of the thing that we do. So most molds are not kept. When I did this one for Haunted Mansion anniversary, you can see that there are pipes. You can see that there's candlesticks. So I kept the candlestick mold, the pipe mold, the book mold, the little tray, all of that, buttons, things like that. So that if the 10 people that have this sculpture, it gets damaged, they know to contact me and I can fix it. Forgive me eating breakfast. I'm done now, so you're fine. My husband was on me because he said, I don't think you hydrated. But I did. I was good. I hydrated with water yesterday, and I did really well. Usually I get a terribly swollen left ankle, but Evan said he walked 14 miles. I easily walked 10. And I was worried about my ankle swelling up. And it actually just swelled up a little bit. And the other one stayed solid. So hydration is the key to that, guys. I'm learning, and sometimes I don't drink as much water as I should, but now that I know, that helps offset the swollen ankle because I have high blood pressure. All the way back to the slave trade days on the black half of my family, we've had high blood pressure. So my doctor said you really can't prevent it, but what you can do is regulate it. And so I was doing all kinds of things. Like I thought maybe I was eating too much salt, but I'm not. And what I learned was that more and more water is the key. And so I've managed to hydrate really well. I actually couldn't believe that my fingers weren't, if my fingers get puffy and swollen, it means I haven't been drinking enough water. And now I'm learning this about my older self because my younger self didn't go through this stuff. Okay. My younger self was invincible and indestructible. I was a crazy girl. I could climb trees. I could jump off cliffs, all kinds of crazy stuff. Now I'm vulnerable. I'm almost 65 and things swell up and things hurt. And so I have to say to myself, okay, why is that hurting? Why am I feeling like this? Usually it means I need to drink more water. So that's what I'm doing. And yesterday, Disneyland, after walking 10 miles after maybe only walking 2 or 3 most of my time, really was a good test. So it was great. But yeah. But that's what I do with the molds. They're shattered. If you do a one of a kind, it's completely shattered. And depending on what you pay for those molds, or what you pay for that piece, sometimes I will encase the mold. And I'm doing a new thing now where if you order a one of a kind, the mold is broken, encased in this stuff right here. And I autograph it. And it says especially for you. So it's a big deal because to do a one of a kind for me is an investment of a few bills. So if you're interested in having a one of a kind done, feel free to discuss it with me. I've got 2 on the books right now, but I'm more than well, I'll be, but it is exclusively yours. You walk with it through me. You walk through it with me. Speak, Ubu. You walk through it with me and you actually choose what the character's going to look like, choose what they're going to be wearing, choose what they're going to be doing. So, and it can be anything. It can be, we're talking sculptures and figurines right now, but it can be a puppet that I make for you exclusively. And then I sell you the rights because a lot of times you want to put this on a TikTok, you want to put this on a, something simple like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, or you want to use it in a television show. You have to make sure the rights to the character are given over to you. In my case, I'm making the puppet. So the rights are mine, my design, until I take it over to you, which means that it's going to be a little more pricey because I sell them outright to you. I don't give you a monthly fee because I just don't want to do that. So that's a little bit about maybe what you might want to do if you're an artist. You can, tell a person in order to rent the art, they do it that way, or you can sell it outright. It's going to be a big payout at the beginning, but then you own it. It's your art. It's no longer mine. Okay. I will show you a couple of examples. Here is a cake topper I did for a friend of mine. Mickey proposing to Minnie. There it is. Very beautiful, very sweet. You can see some of the details that I did for the cake topper. She chose the dress. I chose the expressions and she approved them. So that's one of a kind that you might get. If you decide to do it, like I said, it can be anything. It doesn't even have to be Disney. All right. So you just think of what you want sculpted. In fact, I did this beautiful nativity, which I'll see if I can show you, which was commissioned, one of a kind commissioned to me to do, was this beautiful nativity. Yeah, and we've got several here. Several. So here is the nativity that I did. This nativity was for a lady did it. It's called In the Hands of the Father, and Joseph is holding the baby Jesus. It was great. Lots of folds. Made me crazy. Honestly, made me absolutely nuts. But it was cool. And then many of you like Jessica Rabbit. So I will show you my Jessica Rabbit if she's here. Here she is. Here's Jessica right here. This is a perfect example of the client wanting Jessica Rabbit as a golfer. So we worked together on her pose, and I had to give her a thicker leg and a thicker ankle, and she needed a 3-point positioning. So I said, what kind of a golf club? And he said a driver. So I got a driver and did this. And so she's there in her short skirt. Jessica was done in a long skirt so that the animators didn't have to always animate her legs, but also if she became a figurine, she would have something that protected her delicate ankles like in the film. Here she is painted. So she has a nice purple glove. I designed shoes for her. But there you go. There is some ideas of one of a kinds, but there's a huge amount of, I did a stitch for a charity event and Bob Gurr bought it. Legendary Bob Gurr bought it. Here he is. There's that one right there at the top here. The stitch I made is a puppet for a charity. You know, so there's lots of I do my own stuff, but then I also do specialty stuff for people. And it can be, like I said, it can be anything. And then we discuss your budget. And then you have time, as long as we're both alive, you can get it done. So one thing I don't have a picture of here that was really cute is a angry Donald Duck. The pictures had a challenge. They were early, and I don't think they were digital, which is one of the reasons sometimes my early shots get lost. But if I ever find him, I'll show him to you. But Donald was an angry Donald. So this couple was doing a kitchen, and they wanted a Donald Duck crashing above their stove. Apparently they didn't cook too much, or just use I don't know, the top was safe, so we didn't have to worry too much about heat. But he was crashing through there, and his hands were in a position that they could pull and put a spoon in there, or a rolling pin, or a whisk, and they could change up what he was holding. But he had that, you know, his classic angry Donald. And he was about, yay by yay, okay, about that. And then from front to back, if this was the wall of he came out about that far. He was like, you know. So I did him for them. Before the pandemic, I had a client who wanted, because he knew I did Dragon's Lair Paris. He had looked at Dragon's Lair Paris. He looked at the dragon. He fell in love with that part of the attraction in Paris, and asked me if I could create a cavern, a cave, like the Dragon's Lair cave. Could I make a cave for him? Because he wanted to do a man cave, and we were actually going to make that entire room a cave. And so I was in the process of getting ready to do that when the pandemic hit. And then he took a few hits because of the pandemic and was unable to follow through. But yeah, I'm an Imagineer. That's what I do. Started out doing Big Thunder Paris, working on the rock work there and designing that attraction. And then I moved over to Dragon's Lair Paris, where it's a 35-foot fully articulated dragon, because I love dragons. Had I ever designed an attraction before? No, not to that extent. The whole thing was mine to design. I had people above saying yes, no, no, yes. But I did it. I came up with all the ideas. I came up with the animation. I came up with everything. Yeah. Yeah. And then I got the blessing of it being awarded their favorite attraction in Disneyland Paris when it opened. And now they're having their anniversary on the 12th of this month. And Tony Baxter is going to be speaking on it. No, I will not be there, but that's okay. Those of you who know me know that I speak a lot of truth. So who knows? And Tony Baxter, he was all of Paris. Okay. He was the one overseeing all of Paris Disneyland. So of course you want Tony Baxter. So I'm excited for you guys that get to go and see that and celebrate the 30th anniversary of Disneyland Paris. And I'll be there. My friend Liz Reed, she gets to go. And so she's gonna do some filming and some picture taking, and all of us in the tribe will get to live vicariously through her. And I'm good with that. I got a lot of work here to do. I got a lot of work. So yeah. So there you go. There's that. Okay. We're going to go down to Joe. I hope I answered that, Angie. Long-winded, of course. Do you remember the very first time you went to Disneyland? And if you do, when was it? Thank you, Joe. I will tell you. I was 4 years old and loved Disney films. Okay. Duh, right? One of the films that I liked was Peter Pan. My favorite is Fantasia. As a little girl, I think by the time I was 16 or 17, I had seen it 45 times. Just a big Fantasia nut, because there were centaurs and Pegasus, and this is what I drew. I drew a lot of fantasy animals when I was a young girl, and did a lot of drawing, and then I discovered sculpting, and wow, you know, my life changed. But anyway, I was 4, and my mother and father took me to Disneyland, and they were so excited to see what I was going to do. Well, my mother got this idea. This is what I remember. My mother got this idea that it would be great for Terry, little Terry, to get a picture with Captain Hook. Not the best idea on my mother's part. Because if you've seen the movie, Captain Hook is not a nice guy. In fact, he's really the villain, isn't he? So I told my mother, no, you can take me to see Peter Pan. You can take me to see, but you can take me to see Wendy. If the Lost Boys are around, I'm even cool with them, but do not take me to see the villain. And my mother just had to get a picture. I mean, after all, Captain Hook is a villain with style. Great hat, great collar, great cuffs. The hook is nice and shiny. But no. Okay, you're 4, you're going no. And I pushed against my mother and she's dragging me. And I pushed against my mother and she's dragging me. Now I'm crying and she's dragging me. Now I'm screaming and she's dragging me to see Hook, picks me up, puts me next to him, and I start to fight Hook. I fight him. I've seen the movie. I saw what Peter can do, and I don't fly and I don't have a knife, but I'm ready. Okay? Remember that I'm a little mixed child, half black, half white, that looks white. Hair sticks out like this. I've already scrapped with my friends because there's bullies around. So I'm ready for this big bully. I'm ready. Well, those of you who know the reality of these characters know that the poor person inside was really in a situation. And luckily his handler came and told my mother it would be best if they separated us. Thank God, because I was telling him he was evil. He was not going to let me. I was not going to walk the plank. I was not going to. My mom was so embarrassed. My father said, "Why did you take her to see the villain? She would be perfectly fine if she saw, the good guys, but she's not going to go see him. She doesn't like him." And they had to pull me away. And, back then they would kick you out of the park. But since I was 4, they understood that my mom was the one they sat with my mother and they said, "Ma'am." So yes, Joe, I remember it very well. 2 Disney events happened that made me want to be a Disney Imagineer. I was 8 years old. And you may remember, I mean, even back then, the tickets were kind of an investment, okay? They were always a bit expensive. Compared to today, they were a real cakewalk. In fact, Evan Hunter and I were talking about this while we were walking through Disneyland and going to the various things we wanted to go through. But it was still, my dad had to budget for it. And so he took the family, and it was a day at Disneyland. So you may recall this happening. Your family meets at the hub or the middle of Disneyland. There wasn't really a hub there at the time. Met in the middle of Disneyland, and we said, okay, you kids are getting old enough. You can go off and do what you want, but meet back here at that bench at 12. We're going to have lunch together. Okay, deal? We're all like, yep, Dad, deal. Cool. And Dad and my mom, who knows what they went off to do, except for that my mother really loved a mint julep and an apple fritter. So I'm sure they probably sauntered over to New Orleans Square, grabbed a mint julep or 2, sit back and listen to jazz while we ran around doing whatever we did. Meanwhile, Terry loves the Jungle Cruise, and Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is my favorite. But I also love the Jungle Cruise, and I would go do a Mr. Toad's, and then I would shoot over to the Jungle Cruise, and those were the days where you could ride it over and over and over. Or maybe without having to get in line. You could ride it over and over without having to get in line. But maybe also it was because I was 8 years old. I had a sketchbook with me, and I sketched all the animals. Over and over and over again. I would sketch, flip at 8 years old. And I just planted myself with my little watch and would just go round and round and sketch and sketch and sketch and sketch and sketch. And the cast member put me up. You know how you have that seat right near the cast member on the boat which the boats changed. They're different now, and they were different again and different again. Just think of boats when I was 8. 8 would have made me would have made it the 60s because I was born in 1957, so it was early 60s, so different park. Okay. And I sat there and we just kept going around and around, and the cast member said, there's people that do these things, that make these things real, and they're called Imagineers. And I was like, what? And he said, there are people who do the sculpting, they do the sketching like you're doing, they make it real. And the king of all of them is Blaine Gibson. And I wrote in my book, Blaine Gibson. And to my joy, delight, and thrill, then I went back and I watched Walt Disney's, World of Color, or the Disney show on Sunday nights. And I would watch it. And you know how Walt would have certain people come on and they would talk. Well, Blaine was one of them. And that was the first exposure that I saw Blaine. And I was like, that's him. That's the guy. And then later, as I got older, I started to look through newspapers. If you don't know what that is, go Google it. Okay. It was a physical, tangible thing that could put ink on your fingers, but you read it like this, as opposed to like this. So yeah. But I devoured everything and anything I could about Blaine, and then I learned about Imagineering, and then I learned a lot about Walt. But I was really looking about Imagineering. What can you tell about me? How can I get in there? How can I learn there? What do I do? How do I do it? How? Because my art was a hobby, pretty much was a hobby until Star Wars was released. And then I saw the chess sequence. I had been sculpting, doing puppets, doing shows, doing all kinds of things. But you know how you're a young rising artist at certain parts of your life, and then you're different. Well, 77 was just me right out of high school. Okay. So in high school, I was sketching, I was creating puppets, I was doing portraits because my parents couldn't afford to send me to college, nor was I smart enough to get a scholarship. I was super creative, but I needed to go to a junior college, and it's good that I did. But was always doing something. I was painting rocks, I was creating sculptures, I was building things, I was doing kites. I did all kinds of crazy stuff, as you do as an artist. And then I saw Star Wars, and the room stretched. Like, have you ever seen Jaws and Roy Scheider? The boy gets bit by the shark and the whole camera stretches. That nice move. Well, that happened to me in Star Wars. And it changed my life. And I saw Star Wars 183 times. I'm actually in Skywalking, the George Lucas book. And about the many viewings that I had. And I'm going to see if I have a picture of it here. I don't know if I do. Yes, I do. Here it is. So here is the book, Skywalking, the life and his films of George Lucas, and I'm on page 3. And let me just eliminate this right here so that you can see Dale Pollock is the author, in case you want to hunt that down. But yes, I'm on page 3. I'm also in the index about the viewings. It actually frightened George Lucas because he thought I was a crazy person, but then I did Captain EO, and he realized I wasn't, and I actually got to thank him for the movie. But the movie taught me as an artist that I had a career. Everyone was telling me it was a hobby. And I said to myself, it can't be, because I don't know what I'm going to do if I don't make money at this. And I had made money a little bit here, a little bit there, put myself through junior college, still costs, right? Myself by doing these things. So I was making enough to get to where I needed to go, but I kind of wanted to make it my world, which it is now, as you see. And I was able to tell George Lucas, thank you for that. So, yeah. So that was 8 years old. And then when I was older, I met an artist who sat behind the counter and drew. And that's when I decided I wanted to be one of those artists who sat behind at an event and showed off my art, which I've done. So yes, Disneyland has been a big part of my life. I've worked with them in films, in television, and as an Imagineer for over 40 years. Just pick one. Okay. I also was one of the top 3 young people to be the voice of Figment when they decided to use, they didn't want an actor. So my mother took a tape, hand carried a tape into Walt Disney Imagineering with my voices on it. And they loved it. So then they invited me in and I cut some track. And then we were flown to Walt Disney World when Billy Barty got it, the non-actor. It basically shows you that in the entertainment industry, they don't know what they want until they want it. So there you go. But I really thought I was going to be Figment, and then it didn't happen. But that's okay. I got to audition. I got really close to that brass ring. And brass ring is something that you used to ride a carousel on and grab. In Santa Cruz, they used to still have it, but it's been years since I've been to the Santa Cruz amusement park area. So I don't know if they still have the actual brass ring you can pull and grab, and then you would give it to the attendant, and then that gave you a free ride on the carousel. Super cool, because you had rode the outside creatures and grabbed the ring. It was awesome. It was awesome. It took coordination. Anyway, so Joe, you got a lot for that answer. But the reality is I was at Disneyland, and then things happened because of things that I just did, and people noticed at my young age, and bam. Yeah. Now you can do it on the internet, can't you? So thank you for that question, Joe. Very sweet. Hello, Johnny Johnson. Man, I miss you, man. I really want to go and see you and go to that employee area. And again, if you find a Figment popcorn bucket, like you did the Mummy Mickeys, let me know. Any popcorn bucket like that, let's talk, because I'd love to offer them to the tribe on my Patreon page. Holly Mack, Ryan was so excited after watching Moon Knight. It made me want to try watching it. Ryan probably knows who this is then. Right, Holly? You're one up on me, girl, because if he is going crazy about the Moon Knight, I love the posters of the Moon Knight because he's kind of scary. He's kind of like a skull, and then he's not a skull, and then he's bandages, and it's a cape, and it's a hood, and it's white or kind of gray. It's so interesting. And that's why I'm curious about this other character that apparently is like half vampire and doctor thing. So it's like Dr. Jekyll meets Dracula kind of character. And I was like, so who's that? And my husband says, well, I'll tell you. And then my eyes cross, and he goes, okay, well, we'll go to see the movie, and then I'll explain it. And I was like, that's good. I'm in to go see. But we have to wait a while because of the pandemic, and my husband doesn't want to be in a giant theater with a bunch of people. So we wait a while until it only has like 2 or 3 people in the theater, which isn't great for the theater, but terrific for us. So we always buy a good chunk of concessions, knowing that they're terribly overpriced. I mean, seriously, popcorn for $8? Are you kidding me? I could pop it for 35 cents, but that's not the point. I want to help the theaters, so I invest in that way. And I'm not going to movies like everybody else. This A-list where you can see 3 movies a week, I could never do it because we get screeners, and I have, deadlines. So I can't be. But if you're someone who can see 3 movies a week, power to you, because that is a deal. That A-list that AMC offers, that's a real deal. And you can see IMAX, or, actually, if you saw 3 movies in a month, I think that would pay for itself. So, because the prices for the movies are way up there. So I think it's pretty good. And right now, AMC is offering, if you're A-list potential, which is like, what is it, $20 a month or something? Right now, you can get your first month for 99 cents. So they're really trying to get people to subscribe to that. Because even if you don't go, they get your money. But the point is that that's a real deal if you're a real moviegoer. It's a real deal if you go and see one movie in IMAX. If you still subscribe, you can see one movie a month. You can see 1, 2, 3 movies a week. But the IMAX movies are like $22, and I think it's $20 a month. So if you're going to an IMAX movie, you find you're going to an IMAX movie once a month, this is really saving you money. So it's an interesting program. It's just not for me. I can't go to IMAX because I get terribly motion sick. So unless it's Beaver Venture, where you see little beavers going in their little tunnels and it's not a lot of this, I can't go. So So, but it is cool. It is cool. But we pay for the concessions. We make it a movie night, and we buy quite a bit of concessions. We'll get like a pizza or hot dogs or something, and then we'll get the popcorn, and then we'll get the drinks, and we'll do that. And it's like, $100 or something. No, I'm kidding. More like 50, but it's still a lot compared to if you brought the hot dogs and you brought the popcorn and you brought your own doggone drinks. It would be less, but it doesn't help the theater. And they're saying that the concessions is really what keeps them afloat. So anytime you go, especially if you don't go as little as I do, or you do go as little as I do, consider buying the concessions anyway, because it helps the theater and we don't want them closing. I would hate to lose my AMC. So I'm trying to do my best, but we have to be careful because we don't want a lot of people. So we went and saw the Batman with 12 people in the theater, and only 3 were next to us. So it was great. And there was social distancing because they're wide seats and there's walls between the seats. So that's why we do the lounges, because there's walls. So you are really protected and it can be quite safe. And then we'll go early so we don't have to pass anybody. We're really trying to protect people like my husband, because people who say if you get COVID, it's like a common cold, but we don't know the long-term effects. And my husband has a condition that I really don't want to find out the long-term effects. So we are a little more paranoid than the normal person, I would imagine. But that's just the way we are. And it keeps me from getting things like a cold. So even, so I'm doing well, I was at Disneyland yesterday and there were tons of people without masks and I totally didn't care. I had a double mask and I was fine. It was festive. It was very festive, but there you go. So I'm so happy to hear that about Ryan and Moon Knight. Maybe one day, maybe on the Zoom call, he can pop in and explain this character to me if people are interested. She's part of our tribe. So that would be lovely if Ryan could, fill me in. I would love it. Joe says of black and white, black and white offends. Oh, if black and white offends someone, they're weird. To each their own, right? To each their own. It's unusual to you, but we had a woman who said it wasn't a movie if it was black and white. She just didn't get why black and white, but she was young. She had only seen color. And she made the statement of there's no good films in black and white. And we said, have you seen any? And she said, no. I love those kind of statements. You got to at least watch a black and white to be able to say black and white is worthless to you. You know what I mean? And you can't diss a film if you haven't seen it. Don't listen to other people and then diss the film because you want to be a lemming. Don't do that. Go see the movie and choose for yourself, even if critics don't like it. Okay, perfect example of a movie that a critics just blasted was Evan Almighty. And I love Evan Almighty. I love it. I love it. I think it is so funny that I love it. I love it. So, you're going to love movies that people diss sometimes. And then you're not going to like movies that other people adore. And I will prove this by telling you that I cannot stand Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I've tried to watch it probably half a dozen times, and every time I do, I don't like it. So I have to realize, even though I have so many people that love this movie, love it. It's like I'm one of their top 10. And they're saying, how can you not like it? I don't know. I don't like it. And that just goes to show you people can't love everything. It is not my cup of tea whatsoever, any way, shape, or form. I will not watch it again. I won't waste my time. But that means there's more for you. Okay, but Ferris Bueller's Day Off. My husband always likes to say, how about watching Ferris Bueller's Day Off as a joke? And I give him a look. You do, you'll be watching it alone. And this is not my thing. It's not my thing. I didn't like it. Oof, I really didn't like it. But there are movies I love that people go, really, Terry? Like Anaconda. I love Anaconda. I actually met John Voight and told him I loved Anaconda. Can you believe that? I mean, this movie is really a dog of a movie. I get that it is, but I like it. And I told John Voight that when the snake spits him up and he winks and then eats him again was my favorite scene. You can imagine everyone around me was trying to keep from laughing because I sincerely told him how much I love this movie. And he was just like, you're kidding, right? What about Mission Impossible? What about, he started to name his movies that like mean something. I was like, I was all about Anaconda. Yes, it was wrong. No anaconda in the world, no self-respecting snake is going to do what that anaconda did, but that's not the point. It's a super snake. It's kind of like Meg, a super shark. Okay? It's just an escapism movie that I love. I love Meg too. Okay. If you take your brain to these kind of movies, then you're not going to enjoy them. But I have movies that I use my brain and love. Hidden Figures, Coda, love it. But then there's also movies that I just escape into, like Anaconda, Meg, anytime giant shark movie, Sharknado. Sharknado's getting a little crazy now. But when I first saw it, I thought, I got to see this because what the heck? I just love really, but then probably it comes from my love of Godzilla, which is really rubber monsters fighting. I mean, seriously, do you really need to hear from the people? No. All you want to do is watch rubber monsters fight and then come back to the next one to see rubber monsters fight again. One of my favorites are the twins. Several sets of twins. Apparently in Japan, they have twin conventions of the surviving twins from Godzilla movies. You know, Masura is actually how you say it. Masura. Yeah. I mean, it's the twins. You fall in love with them. You think they're great. Well, maybe you don't. But I'm just saying, you know. So a movie like Risky Business, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, nah, no. Not for me, but that's okay. That's okay because it's plenty for you guys. But that's what I'm talking about. If you don't like black and white films, I think it's odd. But please have seen a black and white film if you don't like it, okay? And give it a chance because I gave Ferris Bueller's Day Off at least a half a dozen chances because I thought maybe it was like a Christmas Story. When I first saw A Christmas Story, I didn't like it. Then I waited a couple years and watched it again, and now I cannot not watch A Christmas Story at Christmas, okay, because I love it. So I had to grow into it, and that's what I kept thinking about Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Maybe I have to be at a certain point where I'll appreciate it. But after over 6 times, no. I just have to realize I got to take the 0 on that one. It's not going to be a movie that I like, and that's all I have to say. But it's loved by so many. I mean, when I was sculpting Splash Mountain, they couldn't believe, all my team couldn't believe, and they kept trying to tell me about scenes that were so great, and I go, yeah, I didn't like that. You know, I love you, but no, I would rather watch something else. So there you go. If not of, yeesh, oh yes, he was hitting the, yes. Interesting about the violin. I'm always sad when an actor's supposed to be playing it but isn't holding the instrument correctly. Yes, Darren, have you seen Humoresque? Because he holds it correctly because it's not him holding it. It's really cool, and it's all practical. You will love this movie, I think. I mean, I do. I'm not upset about the fact they don't know how to play, no problem, but to teach them to actually hold the instrument would be nice. Yes, in this one, he does not. He holds it a couple of times, and he's taught to put it under his chin to make it believable. But the rest of the time, it's the violinist. It's the actual concert violinist holding it, playing it, making it happen. And it's flawless. This is why I'm telling you about this movie, Humoresque, is because it's flawless. It's flawless. It's such a good movie. It's such a good movie. But those of you who are allergic to the black and white, it's black and white. Okay, just saying. I did see Moon Knight and did like the first episode. Oscar is a good actor and held my attention. I got bored during long fight scenes, so we'll see. LOL. Yes, Diane. Again, I didn't know what was going on. Okay, so for me, I was getting a little bored, getting a little sleepy. It felt long to me, but I didn't understand. And when someone is talking to you in a language that you don't get, it really feels long. It feels like, you know, you look around and try, you know, how long can you go? Yeah. When somebody's speaking a language that you don't understand. And this is Moon Knight with me. But I had my husband next to me who said he didn't get it either and said, you know, we got to watch the second episode. We'll probably watch the first and the second so that we can see it. And then when we see it the following Wednesday, when the third one drops, we'll probably watch the first, the second, and the third one so that we can get the flow of this series, because we don't understand it at all. And if you know this character, as Holly has said about Ryan, then you can do that hokey pokey thing, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, because you know what it's supposed to be. And then once the whole thing drops, you might watch the whole series together. But we'll need to do that just to keep hanging on to that roller coaster of a ride, because we're not remembering stuff because we're not getting stuff. And I know I'm getting less than my husband. So I'm going to need to go back, because there's only a couple of scenes I remember. Okay. I remember the masking tape. I just thought that was cool. Okay. And you guys who know this character go, that has nothing to do with the story, Terry, but it was cool. So, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. So I'm going to have to see it again, because things that are cool to me when I don't know what it is, things that I reach out to and fall in love with, it's just because I'm an artist. I go, ooh, that's a cool idea. That's me. So I'm with you, Diane. And I'm excited to see what you think later. Topical, like a cream. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, yesterday we went to eat at the Lamplight Inn, or the Pixar restaurant in California Adventure. And one of my friends had a Bailey's and coffee, always delicious. But my other friend had a hot cocoa. And the hot cocoa had this beautiful dollop of cream that looked like a little emoji. And it didn't have eyes or anything, but it just was the cream was on top so perfectly that it looked like an emoji. I remember it looking like an emoji. And she was so delighted to get it. It was just beautifully presented. We love things that are beautifully presented, don't we? So yes, like cream, Joe. On one-of-a-kind molds, could the person buy the mold? Yes. In fact, if you are having me do a one-of-a-kind, this is a great question, Angie. If you ask me to do a one-of-a-kind, we try to make it work with your budget. Then you are either paying to have the mold included in the whole thing, so you are paying for it. And you can buy the wax. You are the only one that is allowed to buy the wax. But if the wax is purchased, that is seriously investment, because I usually do not sell my waxes. So the mommies usually stay with me. I don't sell the waxes. Tony Baxter has one of my waxes, because he's the one who put my feet upon the path of doing figurines. So he has my Maleficent. He loves Maleficent. Okay. Tony loves a lot of characters, but Tony Baxter loves Maleficent. So let me just see if she's here. Where am I? Oh, I'm in the wrong thing. I got to be in over here. Let me go back to my thing here. I love that you guys are patient enough to let me just sort of say, where is that? Where? Because I can't think of your questions and what they're going to be. So I have to catch as catch can. So let me just see if I can find my Maleficent sculpture. She might be in here. She should be in here, but I don't know if she is. And I do all kinds of things. I've done SpongeBob. I've made puppets. I'm just looking to see. Maleficent isn't in that one. Let's see if she's in this one. Oh, I just got a wave of sleepiness. Shame on me. Oh, I found another really good Tinkerbell. I'll show you that one. Let me show you Tinkerbell up close. So this is the way she looks. You can still get this Tinkerbell. She's tiptoeing across the map. I worked with a lot of Tinkerbell people. In the back is my Stitch, my very second piece from the Impressions line. Cheshire Cat is the latest one. But there they are. They're all sold out, but you can find them, And Tinkerbell is autographed on the side, and some of you have her autographed by Margaret Carey. But you can find her on eBay, and if you find her for less than $150 unsigned, or under $300 signed, grab her, okay? Because that's what she's going for now. Yeah, so if you can find her for less, and if she's unsigned, you just reach out to me, and we can work that out. You can buy me a coffee or something, okay? Donate. So that's how it works. But I'm just trying to see if I can find, I don't see my Maleficent. For some strange reason, she's not in the presentation log, which has got me going, why isn't she in here? I'm going to just keep going until I find her. Well, I won't go for a long time if I can't find her. I'll try another method if I can't find her. Let's see. Let's go up here. See if I can find her here. I try to, get... Here she is. Here's my girl. There she is. Okay, so here's my Maleficent. And my Maleficent, this is the wax. Okay, so Tony now owns that wax. And then here she is painted on the left. That's her painted. Okay, that was offered at Disney Parks during a Villains event. And Tony has the wax. So Tony has the stages. Tony has the clay, the wax, and the painted one in a special case, and a thank you for doing what he did to get me to become a collectible sculptor in the park and out. And so he owns one. My dear friend Liz Bradley, who is the Tinkerbell, she's the one who advised me. A lot of people advised me on Tinkerbell, but Liz was responsible for walking me through all the way through. So Liz has the clay and the Tinkerbell, but her husband secretly bought the wax from me as a surprise for her. And I actually flew to her home and repaired it when a cleaning woman knocked off. I can't remember if she knocked off a wing or she broke something on the wax. And you know how you are when you have something really special. You kind of have a small meltdown. And I said, no worries, no worries, no worries. Did you keep the pieces or do I need to reconstruct them? And she said, no, we kept the pieces. So I just had to bring my tools with me so that she didn't have to try and get it to me because the wax was very fragile. Here's what happened with the Tinkerbell. I asked Disney if they wanted to sell the wax because the waxes are very popular because I don't sell them often. And if I do, I have to put a skeleton inside, an armature, which is their skeleton, right? And they said no. And then, of course, when they saw it, they wanted to buy it. I said, you can't sell it because it has no skeleton. It will break. So it had to go to someone who was close by who could come and get it. And then it has to be taken very, very careful because it has no understructure to keep her strong. And of course, Liz's husband said, I want it. So I actually flew with it to where they live. They live in Las Vegas, so it wasn't so difficult. But I flew with it, and then I set it up for her in the case. But cleaning lady bumped, I don't know what happened, but decided to reach in, well, who knows, and busted it. And so I went and fixed it like it was. The beautiful thing about wax, as opposed to polymer clays or the Sculpey line, is that once the Sculpey line breaks, it's broken, it looks terrible. So wax is a great way because it always repairs beautifully. So to answer your question, yes, you can buy the mold, and yes, you have the opportunity to buy the wax. I will ask you at the beginning if we're going to go to wax, which is, if you want it, I will say, do you want it? And I'll put an armature in it. So right now I'm doing a brand new Jessica Rabbit for a client, not the one like you saw, different. And he's asked me to put an armature in because he's thinking of buying the wax. I have not yet priced it because I'm still working on the clay. But once it's just about ready to go to the mold maker. And then the mold maker will give me the prices. He'll let me know what it will cost to own the wax, or I will, and then we'll see if he wants it. If not, I have an armatured beautiful piece to put in my cases inside my home. But I don't usually sell the waxes, and I even rarer sell the clays. And the reason I don't sell the clays is because the clays are kind of clunky looking. They're just rough enough for me to get to the wax, and then I finish it up in the wax. So, and I will, on Patreon, I'm working, especially on my Patreon page with the tribe, is I'm working, they have a new platform where you can actually watch the artist live doing stuff. And I just need to learn about it because I'm an old dog and I look at it and I go, another thing to learn. And I can't. So, it takes me time to figure it out. But once I get that, I will let you know that that's a new thing that my followers can do, the tribe can be a part of. And then I may show you clips here on this free channel so that you can kind of see if you want to join to see more. Okay? All right. What am I doing? I'm coming over here. But yes, great question, Angie. Great question. How many art pieces have you done as one of kinds, limited editions? One of a kinds I've easily done over probably 24. Yeah, I did a one of a kind for Guillermo del Toro that took me a year. I did the Pirates Captain Bed. Do you guys remember that? Or did I ever show you that? I'll show it to you because it's under Captain's bed. Pirate bed, I think is what it's under. LMNOP, right? P, paintings, painting. That might be. There's so much. But I'll find it. It might be under G, Del Toro bed. All right, let me look here. All right, we're going to go slow, and I'm going to find it. Oh, I got to tell you, you just get a little bit. I mean, I'm sure it's right in front of me. There it is. See, I said pirate bed. I did a book of this, which I don't see here, but I will show you the piece itself. Here it is. So this piece is the piece I did for Guillermo del Toro. Okay. He invested a lot to have this piece done. Here's a close-up of it. Now, pearls and rhinestones sculpted this entire thing. Pearls and rhinestones. The hat is fabric. The magnifying glass magnifies. What else can I tell you? The dead parrot in the corner. See him there? And then handmade blanket. We rode the attraction 18 times to make this happen. The chest there for Guillermo. It took me a year. For Guillermo del Toro, the amazing director. Let me just see if I have the pirate book. I don't know if I have the pirate book in here. Don't think I do, but I'll have to show you that. In any case, I did this Pirates Captain's Bed in 1998 as a Disney exclusive through Disney. I made 10. Okay, you saw the Organ Master. The other one was the Pirate Bed. I did the Pirate Bed. Also did Gravedigger and his dog. And yeah. And the Bat Stanchion. Yeah. Anyway, this one has the right, you see here. Oops, pushed the wrong button. Right here, you see this piece that I did for the back of his bed. Now you can also see the parrot over the side here. All of this hand done. I mean, in wax. It took me a year to do. It took me a long time to make this happen. And there's a close-up of the chest, all hand sculpted again. You can see it from the air. We did the map was done by my husband. Let's see what else we got here. We can show you. There's a side view of it. So you can see the idea was to look decayed. I had painters do it, everything. Pillows are all sewn. Yeah, I didn't do all of it. My team did. Here is a close-up of this piece. And you guys all know it from Pirates of the Caribbean. I just thought it was great. The hardest thing was to be sure to spell his name properly. Scared the crap out of me. You can see that date I did it. 2009, he was shooting. He was in 2009. He was doing the, there's the size of that piece right there in wax. He was working on The Hobbit before he left in New Zealand. He was creating The Hobbit, and then as a director, he decided he didn't want to do it anymore. He had a lot of other stuff going on, and he felt someone else, I guess, or I don't know, but he walked away. And here is the wax details in 2 parts. Reverse parts. I probably should do those back and forth different way. But you can see how well the wax gets the detail right down to the scales and the mermaid tail. And the belt. Here's the mirror with the insignia in the back of it. Wax is just lovely. It gets a lot smaller than Sculpey can, you see. So, yeah. So, anyway. I did one-of-a-kind rings. I do jewelry. So, I did one-of-a-kind rings for a group that was doing a Pirates of the Caribbean cruise event, and there were 8 of them, and I did the ring for them, which was a dragon with a hat and an eye patch. I can explain to you what that is, but anyway. So yes, quite a few one-of-a-kinds. Not only, not like I said, I did the Nativity. I've done SpongeBob. I did Olaf. Yeah, easily 2 dozen and probably more, just because my I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's a lot of people who want something that's just them. And it doesn't have to be, it can be a character that you just don't see. Okay. So I did do a Chernobog, but they only let me do 5. And so many people were upset because they love Chernobog. So if you have a character that you love and you want it done, then you just reach out to me and we talk about it. I don't care what movie, okay? It can be any movie. This is one of the reasons I have Disney Plus. I'm allowed to have Disney Plus. It's one of the reasons I have Park Pass, and I mean an annual pass, okay? Because now I'm the Come Here, Getaway Imagineer, better known as an independent contractor. Why? Because I wanted to have my own company. And when you go to Disney, you work for Disney, don't you? You know, no double brand. So that's kind of, the way people work. It's an independent that they bring in, and then you say, this is what I've done for Disney, my client. So that's how it shifted for me. But that's so I have tons of others. I've worked for Mattel. I've worked for Mattel. I've worked for Nickelodeon, SpongeBob SquarePants. I've worked for Applause. I've worked for Hasbro. I've worked for Donald Trump. Before he was president, he had a casino in Atlantic City, and I was one of the team that built the Atlantic City sign for him. I never got to meet him, just his foreman, because we were sculptors. One of the best paying gigs I ever had, so it was really great. And it went a lot longer than expected, and I just kept praying for it to go longer because the money was really good, and it was fun what we were doing. What else can I tell you? Yeah, always doing tiny, big, tiny. Sculpted for Japan. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. Yeah. To show you my whole portfolio, you would be in your bunny slippers before you know it. You would be like, what the heck, right? So there you go. Okay. Do you still have your Oswald mold or model? I have one art proof of Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, my kinetic sculpture, but the mold is destroyed. Yeah, because he was only limited to 50. I do have pins, however. So if you missed the Oswald the Lucky Rabbit sculpture, I can show you. I hope I did it here in my faves. Come on. There it is. Okay, let's see if I have it here. I'm going slow. Oh, I should show you how small the skull is for Guillermo's project. That would be cute to show you. And then I will show you the Oswald if he's here. Poor Ozzy. He's not here. He might be under his own thing. Because people were just like, let's see, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. I don't know if I have him here. Which is surprising he's not here because I have him everywhere else. Oh, here we go, pins. So I have this Oswald pin. The blue one you can buy. The gray one is only available to people who are in the tribe. They can purchase the gray one. So they get the gray one if they come into the tribe. In the tribe, they have the opportunity of buying it. So I have the blue one you can buy now. Everybody can buy the blue one of Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. This is called If One Rabbit's Foot is Lucky, How About Two? That was the sculpture. And there's the pin. They're still available. Like I said, you can buy it if you're in the tribe, the gray one. Otherwise, you can buy the blue one. You can go to my store, TerriHarden.com, and then go on online store and you can pick up an Oswald the Lucky Button. The Lucky Button. It's about 2.5 inches across. It's a big one. I like to do big buttons for people, and that's that one for you. We also have other pins. So there shows you the size, how big he is. That's the one you can buy again. And then they're limited to 100. I still have a few, and my name is embossed. And if you buy it from me, there's another person, my friend Joshua sells them too. But if you buy it from me, they're signed again underneath in Sharpie. But it doesn't mean that if you don't go to like the Disney Anna Fan Club show and sale and you bring me the pin you bought from Joshua, I'll sign it then too. Yeah, I may ask you to contribute a donation because this is one that I love. This is my favorite character in Lilo and Stitch is the councilwoman. And so I wanted to do a pin that celebrates her. The actress died a couple years ago, I think it was. And I did it after she releases Stitch. So Stitch does not have the shackles. So this is kind of what I do is I try to do something that's not a copy of the art, but a impression of the art. So I really like the moment when she tells Stitch that he can stay with the family. So that's that one. Again, this is limited edition and it's embossed on the back, and I will sign it. And then I have these. Usually I have these in my pocket, but yesterday I didn't. If you know me, you come up in here, you introduce yourself to me, I will give you one of these dragon pins. I sent these to SpaceX and to NASA to thank them for naming their ship after my favorite, a dragon. You know they did it for me. Yeah, just for me. This is the Haunted Mansion Hitchhiking Ghost pin, and this is it glowing in the dark. Here's what it looks like not glowing. Here it is what it looks like glowing. That's available too. That is an open edition, and I'll have those at the Indiana show and sale. That's open, and then I have a few of my Country Bears left. So there you go. There's some ideas. I don't have my Splash Mountain one showing, but I was hoping I had my Splash Mountain one around here that I could show you, but I don't. But anyway, so that gives you an idea of what's available for Oswald. But no, I don't have his mold anymore. He's that was destroyed. I do have things like ears in case you lose an ear, because those ears are a bit fragile. If I had them to do over, I might have tried to do them together, because if someone breaks one, it's usually the ear, and I'm like, oh, doggone it, I feel kind of bad that the ear got busted. But yeah, I thought I had Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, and I don't have him in here, which makes me sad, because I thought for sure I had him in here. Let me just look again here, because I'm feeling like I feel like I'm just not reading things right. Because I have my Cheshire Cat here. I have a Batman comic I collaborated with, but I just don't see it. I can't believe I don't have him there. I'll look in the library, because I know he's got to be in here, because I was showing him off quite a bit. But he's really cute, and he's a kinetic sculpture. He spins. And so I thought I actually had a movie that showed him spinning. So I don't know what's the matter with me and that I don't have him here, but I'm going to see if he is. I'm just going to take a minute and look at my library. Don't you love how you flip through your pictures? You got so many pictures, and you're like flipping. Where is that picture? 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 And I don't see it here. So I'll have to look. I'll tell you what I'll do. I will, let's go to recents. Bam. And we'll go to the bottom there. Excellent. What I'll do is I know I have one in my phone. Oh, my dad. My dad always calls me when I'm broadcasting. You have a parent that's like that? They always do it. It just cracks me up. I love my dad, but he always forgets. He's so funny. Always forgets that I'm broadcasting. So I'll have to call him after I'm broadcasting today, finish broadcasting today, Friday. But let's see if we have Oswald in here. I know I must, because come on. That's so funny. He's a stinker, so maybe he jumped off of my feed, and if that's the case, then I will be sure. Oh, here he is. Here's my Oswald. Okay, here's two Oswalds. Okay, so let's grab this one, and we'll shoot it over to my, there it is. Okay, I found him for you. Thank you for being patient. And thank you for hanging on so you could see Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Oswald was done in honor of my dear friend Diana Waller, who passed away in 2020 around the summertime. And I was going to release it in the latter part of 2020 in honor of her. And I ended up, I think it was 20 or 2019. I don't know. Anyway, I released it in honor of her. Here is the Oswald. And here he is just sitting on his little bum. And you'll see down here, he's got like a little square thing underneath. This is my prototype. And then there's a little picture of Diana. It's not the whole picture of Diana, but there she is in the back. And when you got this sculpture, it came with a history, a little story about Diana, and then the certificate of authenticity in a really cute box. So that's what that is. But here is, and I don't know if it's going to play. Oh, it looks like it is. Yay. This is what it does. It's a kinetic sculpture. It's the prototype. So my fingers are in there getting ready to spin him. And he kind of sort of spins. There he goes. So he's a kinetic sculpture, kind of the people who love Oswald the Lucky Rabbit told me that, there he goes. Anyway, told me that that's what they really thought would be cool. So he's my first kinetic sculpture that I do. You have to sort of stick him down because he can tip over, but I got some of that super strong tape and you just stick that down and then you can spin him easier. It's not perfect, but it's really cute and very, very nice. So there he is. So I hope, Darren, that answers your question. You are part of the tribe, so you can get both the gray and the blue of the buttons, and I welcome you to do so. Richard Barnes, welcome to the tribe. I saw that you joined and I'm so happy. Please go over to our private Facebook group and ask to join. I sent you an email with the link. If you did not get it, reach out to me and I'll send it again. But just go straight over there and ask to join. And I sent you a welcome letter. But go there and ask to join so I can get you in on the Facebook group and you can share about you and your life and learn about everybody else. And then maybe do a spotlight. My son and I will be visiting Disneyland late June. We have eaten at the Blue Bayou a few times. If you had to pick just one restaurant at the resort as a favorite, which one would you pick? For dinner, Club 33. Is that rude? That's so, isn't it? But I know a lot of people from Club 33 that invite me up. They haven't since the pandemic because everybody's still trying to figure out how can that work. But I usually go up and tell stories to their group, and it's nice to have an Imagineer there who loves to tell stories. So they will reach out to me and say, hey, you want to come up for a cocktail or something? Of course I do. It is my favorite restaurant, and I love the lounge more than anything. It's so much fun. If I could not go to Club 33, it would most likely be the Blue Bayou, or for breakfast, that market that that's on Main Street, the one that's really hard to get in. I love their breakfasts there. It's the best breakfast ever. And I like that. In California Adventure, it's a Carthay, but my favorite is this lamplight. I love this lamplight, whatever it's called. I love that place. It has a beautiful poke bowl. I thought I ordered that last night, and instead I got the appetizer. I should have got the meal because it has this like lunar wild thing, and I didn't get it. And it turned out it was better that I got the appetizer because I didn't have enough room in my stomach for the big one. But that's my favorite. I love that. And I love the cocktails that they serve and everything. It's fun. But Carthay is another one that's just beautiful. A great restaurant. So I love California Adventures restaurants because their food, I have to say, is a cut above Disneyland's food. It's just really good, fresh, wholesome, fun ingredients. So the Lamplight Inn and Carthay both have really delicious food, and I'm a foodie, so I like it. Which is why I really want to go back for the Food and Wine Festival, which I hear goes till the 26th of April. Thank God, because my client and I are going to Disneyland on the 21st, and I want to just kind of walk and do the food thing at California Adventure Park around the 21st on his birthday. So I think that'll be fun just to walk around. We were so full after eating that lovely beach restaurant, which also has great fresh ingredients. It was delicious food. Really, really good. Yeah, that made me really excited to eat. So California Adventures is a great food. Just really, really great food. And they were real excited to hear they were really, really excited to hear that used to be the Wolfgang Pucks. because I did a sculpture that opened California Adventure, the California Adventure. I thought it looked like a wolf, but it's a bear mountain. So I had to really fight myself to make it look like it did. But every time I looked at it, it made me think of a wolf mountain, not a bear mountain. Just me. But anyway, I opened the park and went to the very, very first opening with a lot of pass holders and stuff. They had a special pass holder early opening when it was kind of but they had Wolfgang Puck, and then they had a Robert Mondavi wine that was just great. Both of those were great, but both Mondavi and Wolfgang felt like there wasn't enough traffic flow for them to stay. So they left, and that broke my heart. And then it became the Little Mermaid restaurant, which I thought was ghastly. And then all of a sudden, Holly and Ryan, actually, that's not true. My friends who took me to a Taste of Disney, Keith and his wife Deb, they took me to the Lamplight, and I just went head over heels for the food and the drinks, and they took me to Carthay too. It's all of you who help keep me in the know of where to eat. I love the Napa Rose at the Grand, but I love if I'm going to. Let's say you have a party and you're going to have it in the evening. Because of where I live, I have to go early or I'll never get to your party. I've tried it. Traffic gets so bad that I can be late, terribly late, and never make it. And that's just not cool for me. I just don't like it. So I feel terrible when I do that. And so I come early and I hang out in the Grand Californian at that little bar in the corner and the back. I love that little bar. It's got big comfy chairs, and there's a table in the corner in the back that I like to sit there, and I'll have a hot toddy, or I'll have a Moscow Mule, or I'll have avocado toast, and I'll just sit and maybe draw or work on my iPad or whatever I need. I'll do a little project while I'm waiting for the party to commence. And I invite people to come and see me at that point, because I'm there for hours before I have to be at the party, because if I don't go early, I can't get to the location fast enough to be on time. And that really bothers me. So that's what happens. And I love that little bar. So I have places that I like. Storytellers is very nice. Their corn chowder is delicious. I don't know how they're operating now with the pandemic, and maybe they're finally coming back into their normal mode of operation. But I do know that they're challenged. Oh, good. Still have some tea. I know that they're challenged by, every restaurant's challenged with what do we do and what don't we do to keep people safe with the pandemic. So I did hear that Trader Sam's was back up and running. I love Trader Sam's. If the park gets too crazy and crowded for me, I go over to Trader Sam's and hang out at an outside table, have a little cocktail and a little appetizer, and just relax. Just love it there. Love Trader Sam's. I think it's one of the best kept, maybe not secrets of Disneyland and the Disneyland resort area. It's just great. So that's kind of what I like to do. Disneyland. I love sitting at the train station above everybody else on those benches if I need to be on my own, and I can watch other people below. If I need to just sort of chill, I might grab a soft drink or something, a coffee or something, and then just sit up there and relax and look over the whole park. I love that. I think that's real special. If I'm at Club 33, I sit and look over all of New Orleans Square, but most of the time I'm inside visiting with people. And yeah, that's about it. Yeah, you notice I didn't say the cantina. I think the cantina is watered down drinks, way overpriced, and I cannot stand that robot. That peak level is grating on my brain. It's too much like Star Tours, so I'm not really a fan of that. So I went and saw the cantina, and I thought the cantina was great. I took tons of pictures because it looked really good. The only thing is I wish they had more burly, scary guys like the real cantina. You know how those bartenders in the movie were really tough looking? I would have liked them to maybe try to hire a few cast members that look like that. Just my thought. It really would have put it over the edge for me. But But that land has got some special things. You do that Millennium Falcon thing, and I had to sit by the chessboard as it was the thing that made me realize I had a career, not just a hobby. So I had to sit there. And I remember when I went, the woman told me I could not stay to get a picture, and I told her to bite me. I was going to get a picture. And I got a good one, made sure it was good, and then I went and boarded the ship. I do not like to pilot the ship as I get motion sickness. So I found out my favorite position on that is gunner. I have so much fun being the gunner. And oh, that's just so much fun. Navigator's fun. I thought that was really cool too. I'll do either one, but I love being the gunner. So honestly, if you get a gunner card and we're in the same group, I'm going to ask you if I get a pilot card if you want to trade. And 9 times out of 10, a person will trade with me because they all want to be the pilot. So I'm more than happy, but I'm going to go to a gunner first and say, can we switch? And so just know that if you see me and I'm on there, that you know if I get the pilot, you can go to me. And it's not like you don't know me, right? It's good. So that's good. And then if there was no Disneyland, is there another attraction park that you love to visit? Your show is great. Thank you. And thanks for sharing so much. Thank you for saying that, Richard. And you're going to love being in the tribe. We can't wait to hear from you. Next Wednesday is the Terry's Tribe Zoom call. So I hope you can make it at 11 a.m. And then also I will be broadcasting at 8:35 in the morning on Monday. So please, please, please. I mean, I email all this, but I also state the Zoom call again in the Facebook page in case anybody missed it in the email. Okay, you don't have to dig through the email. Just go to Facebook. You can find it. The private Facebook page. So please do that, Richard. And we are so excited to have you. And a park that I go to, well, I have to be honest with you. The park that I go to most of the time when I can get to a park is Universal Studios. And full disclosure, my husband works for Universal, Comcast Universal. So we go there. And a lot of times it's because we can go and look at sound stages. We can go and do things that some people cannot. And so I love that. I love that behind the scenes thing. Since the pandemic, he hasn't been able to do that. He hasn't been able to take a special group or his wife around. But, and he hasn't been able to have me on the lot for lunch, which when he's there, we usually have a lunch or a dinner. And it was great. It's the same with my friend Darnell. He also wants to be able to do that, but we have to wait till the pandemic rules and regulations behind the scenes as well in front of the scenes change. But that is cool. I am hearing a lot about Knott's. Now, I used to go to Knott's once or twice a year just to do the races because the races ended in boysenberry pie. And boysenberry pie, let's see. Let's go back here. This one we're going to wait on, and then I'll get back to it, okay? I'll click it after this in a minute, Richard. But boysenberry pie was at the end, and what we chant was we were doing a 10K, and my 2 friends were hitting a wall, so I jump in. I'm like the cheerleader when you're running. We don't run, we run-walk. Let's just be clear. We just run-walk. And I dance. So if the person is tired and they're trying to get there, because I want to get their medal, and we chanted boysenberry a la mode, boysenberry a la mode, because at the end you get boysenberry pie, yum yum, as your reward once you finished a race. You can get it after the 5K or the 10K, and we later learned that if you do a 10K, it's seriously boring. So just do the 5K because it's all through the Knott's Berry Farm Park. But the park looks really cute. And now I'm hearing that a lot of Disney people are using Knott's Berry Farm as an alternate place to meet and greet and be with each other. And it's really about the people. So Evan was asking me yesterday if I was going to get a pass. I said, I don't know if I'll get a pass, but I will go. I'd like to go. And when you all are going there and meet you there and see what it's like, have you guys show me around a little bit around Knott's Berry Farm. And see what it's all about. Learn about the meal plan, which I hear is excellent. Learn about the pass, their annual pass, which is phenomenal. I just love to let you guys show me around because I've heard it's got some great stuff. And although I'm really about the people, you know, so I could sit on a bench all day and all of us share stories about, you know, whatever experiences are. So Knott's is on the list, you know. What would you say is the biggest misconception the public has about Imagineering? It's impossible to get into. It's not. Yeah. I think people think Imagineering is the best of the best, okay? But you can be the best. You have the potential, you have the ability, you know. It's not simple and easy to get in. It takes work. It can take years. Some people say it took them a decade. That's 10 years. But if you want it, you got to really want it, and you got to just keep hitting them. I have enough rejection letters that I can wallpaper this studio and my home of the mouse going, you're not worthy. Never mind. Get lost. And then one day it went, welcome to Imagineering. But the biggest misconception is that you can't get in. And they hire only from within is another biggest misconception, because they do not. They hired me. I wasn't in. I was in the film industry. They needed fast. Okay, I'll tell you something that Imagineering does do. If they don't have it, they look for it. Okay, in Imagineering, they needed people super fast, and they looked to the film industry. People who sculpted like yours truly, who, when they asked about a deadline, so in the movie industry, like Ghostbusters, Men in Black, the movies that I was a part of, you would ask them as a sculptor, excuse me, how long do I have to sculpt this, whatever it is, fill in the blank. And they would say, in the film industry, it was due 2 weeks ago. And you're like, boom. So basically, they're saying they need it as soon as possible in the film industry. Disney will come to you, and I haven't worked in studio for a long time, but when I was in studio, but most of the time what I'm doing is putting out fires. When Disney calls me, they need to catch up. Okay. They want someone fast, and they want you to catch up. So it is a little bit like the film industry, but it's not, because they don't say it was yesterday. They say we have about 9 months, and you go, whoa, what? Because 9 months is a luxury. But they will go back and forth. Yes, I like it. No, I don't. Yes, I like it. No, I don't. You're so you need to kind of figure out if that's your cup of tea, and there's ways to work with that. But it's a great place to work. Do they pay you? Yes and no. You can come in with your price and say it's this or the highway, and they'll go yes or no. You can go in and just pray they hire you and say, I'll work for anything, and then they will pay you anything low. So you have to kind of figure it out. But let's say you come in for an amount that's less than you're used to making, which is possible. Then there's perks. Okay. Working for Imagineering is a perk. And so one of the perks that I had is that if I wanted to learn about a new clay, say Siobhan, I could call Siobhan and say, hey, I hear you have a sample kit of your product. I'm a Disney Imagineer. Could you send me some over here at Imagineering? A lot of times what they would do is say, let me get back to you. They'd take my phone number, and then they'd call me right back, and I'd go, TERRI HARDIN, Disney Imagineering. And they were like, so then the truck would back up, and it wasn't like a sample kit like this. It was a, full-size blocks of clay that slid out, and a pallet would come. And TERRI, well, how much clay did you order? I didn't order any clay. So they're looking for the endorsement. And so you can get a few things. I got any paint I wanted, any kind of paper I wanted. And all I did was say, I need a sample. And a lot of times they sent you a lot because they were hoping they might be able to get a Disney contract if you like it. Okay. A perfect example, I was saying to the group yesterday when we were at Cars Land, they asked me about rock work, because that's where I was brought in. Rock work meaning that you create the rocks that surround the attraction. And as you know, Cars Land is one of the best displays of rock work that we've seen to date, that the Disney Imagineers have done. And it's spectacular, especially at night when the lights hit it. And so people were asking me about how to do rock work and stuff like that. But what I told them stories about it, but I told them about 2 types of foam. A lot of times you will sculpt your rock work and things like this out of what's called foam. Now, foam is a hard foam. And those of you, the best way I can tell you what it is that you stick your flowers in it, reservoir. That's the green foam. Okay. But without getting into too much detail, you can ask it about me in another of me at another time. I convinced Disney and a few other studios to go to a higher pounds per square inch, meaning the gold foam, which is more expensive. You're going to pay a lot more, but the dust falls when you carve it. Now, many of you are going, what? But make in your notes that you want to ask me about this later. And then on Monday, maybe you can do, or even now, say, we'd love to hear about more of this. And then on Monday, I'll make sure that I have some visual aids to show you so you can get the concept a little better. But I can show you one piece so you can get the idea. I will show you my, let me find it. I have to remember, what am I doing? Okay. It's in here somewhere. Here we are. My hair is extra special here. For those of you who don't know me, this is kind of what my hair, this is my Imagineer hair. So this is my hair when I was a little kid. So you can see why I was bullied, right? Okay. Back to this. So here we are doing Big Thunder Paris. This is Vasile and myself. And this is the gold foam. Okay. We're carving it and we're creating it. And then it's painted. And it's done in modules back then. And we're actually creating the island. Now, somebody asked me also, do we have photo reference? They asked me that yesterday at Disneyland. And yes, we do. You can see the photo reference right there. Let me move Richard's question just for a minute. There's the photo reference. So when we're trying to do stuff, we've got photo reference. You see, we got it in the back here too, based on the collaboration of all Imagineers to make it happen. So that's what that one is. And that's what you kind of do. Dragon's Lair was a bit different. I was able to create all of Dragon's Lair on my own. And then I presented it to people. So here it is. This is in a book. This is page 80 in Imagineering the Building of a Dream. Okay. I have it on a photo, but I'm wondering if I can just show you the book real quick. Oh, my body is like a little tired today, so forgive me if I'm a little like crippled. I'm like a little bit crippled today because I'm just a little tired. But I'm here, so let me just. Okay, here it is. Let's just show you the real book. So there was a book that Kevin Rafferty, and Kevin Rafferty was very instrumental in having happen. Forward by Michael Eisner, and it's Hyperion, hardbound. That comes in paperback now, but this is the hardbound. This is the first edition. It's called Imagineering, and a behind the dreams look at making the magic real. Here's cute Mickey right here. And many people get this book signed. It comes across, and they open it to the page, and my page is 80. And before this book is very special, because before this book came out, they did not name the artists of Imagineering. Okay, but Kevin Rafferty, I'm going to say his name a million times, he is about to do a Carolwood event in November at Walt Disney World, in the area of Walt Disney World. So Florida, okay? And look up Carolwood. They can let you know when it is, but if you want to hear this lovely man speak, I say run, don't walk. He is adorable, sweet, wonderful, fabulous. And I only have nice things to say because he really fought alone to get our names inside. So that picture I just showed you, here it is over here. And I'm carving Dragon's Lair. Okay. Now you can't see it up close, but they spelled my name wrong, but I still sign it. I mean, because he just spelled Hardin E-N instead of I-N, but he got my first name right. So here I am, and you can see the size of the dragon and everything. So there it is. And bring this book. I should say this to the Disneyana fan club too. If you're coming to my, the Disneyana fan club is honoring me as a Disney legend at a dinner on May 14th. I hope you guys will join us. Go to Disneyana.org to find out more. But it's going to be me and Kim Irvine. Kim Irvine and I actually, it was a very established Imagineer. Her mother was the model for Madame Leota. in the Haunted Mansion. And Kim had a track record. And what Disney usually does when they're introducing a new sculptor artist to the park is they put a heavy hitter like Kim next to it, because people are going to come and see Kim, and then they'll look over and see me too. Isn't that nice? Yeah, they put a veteran, a real strong artist that people love, and she's one. And so she's again going to be honored with me at this dinner. So I'm super excited to see her again. I haven't seen her. I mean, I know of her. She redesigned a lot of the Club 33, and I think she did a terrific job. I'll talk about that too. But she is just an amazing lady. And so I was very happy to share the stage with her at the Disney Gallery that used to be above the Pirates of the Caribbean. It's not there anymore. But this book, again, you can see page 80, but it's got lots of cool stuff. One of the things that it has that shows it is a first edition, I believe, yes, is that it has an actual Walt Disney Imagineering envelope in the front. So this is the actual envelope. I think the paperback has, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the paperback just has a photo. So this original has this, and there's Marty's signature and Kevin Rafferty. See, the amazing Kevin Rafferty. And he says show writing. He did this. He got us named in this book, and I will forever love him for that. He was a fan of mine. Can you imagine someone big as Kevin Rafferty loving me as I was beginning my career as Imagineer? Oh, he's just the best. He's just the best guy. But anyway, lots of nice signatures here. Bruce Gordon is here. Dave Thompson. Who else is in here that you would like go crazy for? They're all wonderful though. They're all here. And look at what Hugh did. He did a picture. Okay. And then it's great. It's great, but it's an interdepartment. Whenever we did interdepartment things, we did this. So isn't that cool? Yeah, so that's cool. So try to find this book in hardback because it's real special. And then bring it, get it signed. Many collectors, they get it signed by the people. They open it up to a special page and they have us sign it. So if you're coming to the dinner, please, I urge you to come and celebrate with me at the Disney Anna Fan Club dinner. And then maybe the show and sale. You can walk around and just ask them, and we're happy to do that for you. So this is a great book. Look for the hardbound. Might be a little more expensive, but it's great. When did it come out? Is a good question. I know you're going to ask that because you're smart. Let me just look for you. Done by Hyperion, first edition, which is this one. 1996. Another way you can check if it's a first edition is that it says so on the bottom, or sometimes it's just numbered 1 through 10. Have you ever seen that in the about the book section? I mean, you guys who have books probably knew all about that and don't need me to tell you. But it's a great book, and it is the first. Let me say that again: the first to actually name Disney Imagineers inside it, and that's Kevin Rafferty's fault. So this is a cool thing for Disney Imagineers and for you to have if you don't have it. So alert, alert. That's a cool thing for you to have, right? Right. Coolness. Okay. So I hope that helps. Another thing is another misconception, Richard, is how to become an Imagineer. It's different now. So I tell people on my tribe page specifically, I find out what you want to do as an Imagineer, and then I kind of let you know what I think you should do in order to get there. Okay. So there's a lot for $5 a month that I give you. I love to over deliver. Undersell and over deliver. It's just my thing. So there you go. I hope that helps. And I can't wait till you're in the truck, till we get to speak with you. Evan says, as you know, I share a love of movies. I have the A-list, and I was easily seeing 3 movies a week, but my all-time record is 30 movies in 5 days. Yeah. Okay. So here's Evan showing you exactly how you can use that A-list to your advantage. And Evan, do you do any of the big movies like the IMAX, which I just can't get near unless it's very mundane, and then why would you watch it in IMAX, right? They do have a new thing at the AMC theaters that's kind of like William Castle. Have you guys heard about the William Castle and movies like The Tingler? William Castle was from the 50s, and he would set up things that he would set electric things in the seats and they would rumble or jolt you at certain times in the theaters. It was gimmicky, but he was known for it. He was an amazing man. Well, now AMC has what's called AMC Prime, and apparently it vibrates. It has surround sound in the seats. It like is the total movie experience in your lounge chair. So we haven't done that yet. My husband keeps saying we don't need that. Of course, it's more of an investment, but he says we don't need that. We don't need that. But I'm kind of curious. So I may have to go to a movie with Evan. He'll have to come out and maybe we'll go do the Prime thing so I can see what that experience is like. We would do it, but we got to make sure there's fewer people. It just sounds like kind of a fun thing, and I'm curious about it because I loved William Castle and I was too young to do the William Castle films. He used to do with the Tingler. He used to say it's so scary that they'd have nurses out in front. I think they did that with, I don't know if they did that with Psycho too. Psycho also. But I do know that they had nurses out in front and they would take your pulse and say, this movie is so jarring, and stuff. It's cool. It was like this little added little scary stuff that happens in film. It was really neat. So that's amazing, Evan. That is amazing. Yes, indeed. Angie says, what is the largest piece you have done? Most seem little. Yes, I do love to do little stuff. Yes, I do. And then talk in a little voice at the same time. Angie, I've done a 40-foot Ra sculpture, Ra, the Egyptian god, using a cherry picker and a chainsaw. I've also, I'm really good with a chainsaw. See, I told you, woman of many talents. I chainsaw, and then I don't know if I have my Mrs. Godzilla that I did for a parade for Disney, and I used a chainsaw carving it, and I did it in 10 days, and the men were just shocked because I came in with the chainsaw and they were like, what the heck is that woman doing with a chainsaw, and does she know how to use it, blah 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 blah, right? And then you just and you do it, right? I have a wonderful lady that I met. You saw her in the Outrageous Pumpkins, and she is just adorable. She chainsaw carves, and she chainsaw carves. This woman is pretty doggone hot. She also carves ice. Her name is Griffin. You may remember her as doing some pumpkins. She was eliminated early in pumpkins, but man, this woman can really. She runs circles around wood and things that she carves. She really can run a chainsaw. She is quite impressive to look up. Anyway, she's fabulous. And, you're not going to look at a woman and go, can she work the chainsaw? So it's, you betcha. I'm going to look and see if I have it here. I don't know if I do, but I will try and find the picture. Well, I know where the picture is. I just got to find that puppy. But you're right. Very good observation, Angie. I do a lot of small things. And that is why I am, for fun, going to do this dragon Lego project right here. This is a mural using dots. Dots are a pretty much 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch thing. You've seen the Beatles. You've seen some of those pop art things that Lego does. If not, go to the website and click on pop art portraits. They're much smaller, but this one is going to be 8 feet by 5 feet, and it's all going to be dots. So right now I am currently tallying how many dots it's going to take to make my dragon. But it's going to be 8 feet dots. And you figured that 16 by 16 dots plaque in Lego, and I have to figure out how many plaques I need too. 16 by 16 dots in Lego is 5 inches by 5 inches. So yeah, it's going to be 8 feet by 5 feet. I'm so excited to be working on it, but it's my carrot. So I have a job to do, and then I have fun stuff. So this is going to be big. If I cut to camera 3 for you guys over here, you see that there's a painting here, like there. And if I move this paper, it is about 3 feet by 2 feet. ish. So because I have other artists, I'm starting to paint now. I didn't paint for a long time. I wasn't very good at it. I really was about sculpture. And so I've done that. Sculpting wise, in clay, I think the biggest thing I've done, most of the stuff that I've done that's really big has been foam. Okay, the foam I showed you, like the mountain. But if I was going to do it in clay, I'd probably do bird baths, or I've done a full-size head, like a full-size head of Bill Gates for his office. Google me. Sorry, but Google me. Oops, I showed you my tools. Google me. Because I've done some really big stuff. But it's a lot. I have such a resume when it comes to this stuff. My friend Joshua did a list of everything I had done, and he's still doing addendums to it. Every time I speak to him, he goes, "That's not on it," and he makes a note. He's so sweet. But it's about 20 pages long. And it was so funny because I was told when I was at an event as a speaker that nobody wants to read through 20 pages. That's not true. The schools love that 20-page document. And you can send the 20-page document, and then you can send the cliff notes and say, you can Google me as well. But this 20-page document just is a list that my friend Joshua Schaefer put together of everything I've ever done. And it is it's crazy. It's all I can say is it's absolutely crazy. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Okay, guys. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. We're just over 2 hours. We're 2.5 hours, and I don't want to keep you through today. I've never seen the jewelry. Do you have pictures? Oh, let me see. I should. If I was smart, I would. Let's see if I have it in commissions. I don't see the ring, but I have the cufflinks. So here is a cufflink that I did for a bride to give her groom. He loves the Haunted Mansion. So I did the tiny sculpture, the frame for the Haunted Mansion. And then there are the cufflinks for the Haunted Mansion. And I also did a money clip. So I also did a ring, but I'm not quite sure where that is. So that's going to take me a bit to find. But I also did a ring for people. I'm thinking of doing a necklace. I did a 1-string thang for the cast and crew of Country Bears, and I gave it to them in a special box. The 1-string thang, the guitar that the Bears, and everybody got it. It was a brooch about yay big, done in gold. Silver. And had a picture of me at the time. I looked really funny, and I did the 1-string. I did the 1-string thing there. So that was cool. And what I'll do is I'll look to see if there's anything else that I can show you in that realm. But I like sculpting small. Here's Cinderella's head I did for New York, or I think it was Japan, actually. That's a number 2 pencil eraser, and that's my sculpture on the other side, held up by Chavant clay, but sculpted in wax. So wax can really get tiny. Yeah. So I'll try and remember to send you the ring too. I'll try and pull that up, the ring and some foam examples. But yeah, so I do the jewelry, and then I work really big, but usually it's a cherry picker, that thing that you work like this and carve. Do that a lot for the film industry. When I was carving, like for Congo, I did the cavern that they were in. I didn't do the whole thing. I mean, with a group of people. Yeah. A couple of figures for Gotham City. I think I did arms and legs because the main guy who did the heads and stuff. But it's fun. Do you get discounts from Disney? They should provide you access for free to all Disney parks. Oh, they should. They did when I was an employee. Okay, when I was under the Disney umbrella as an employee, I did get a lot of that. I had a silver pass, which allowed me to not only get in myself, but to take 3 others, and I love that. But when I developed my own company, and when Disney invited me back and wanted to make me an employee, We agreed to do the contractor so I could keep my company and still help them, because I love coming in and helping them out. It's just that I'm not in the position personally to be an employee anymore. It's not what I want. I want to venture out into my own art. And you saw that there. And then I've got some other pieces I'm not quite ready to show yet. But you did see the dragon. I mean, that's a Lego thing. That's for me to play with. But it's getting a lot of excitement. People are loving that thing. And so they're really wanting to see how I do it. So I'm going to, of course, make sure I have content on how it's built and how it's done and talk about it, because we have a brand new tribe member named Joe Mino, who's brilliant. He's got some brilliant stuff. And I called him the Lego guy, but that's not completely true. He also does some amazing pop-ups and he sketches well. So he's a lot like me in that he's got many talents. And I'm really excited to get to know him more. He's part of the tribe. And we're going to do a spotlight on him this month. I think it's this month. Is it this month? We're doing a spotlight on the tribe page. Let me just look. No, we're doing a spotlight for Joe in May 11th. So another good reason to join is to learn about some of these magnificent people who are sharing with you back and forth their talents and abilities. And we're learning all about him, and he's very talented, and it's so exciting to see his stuff on the Facebook page. He posts it, and he talks about challenges he has, and can you help him? And you're kind of looking at it going, where's the challenge again? It's magnificent. So this is the case of a lot of stuff. So what I can do, Angie, is deduct on my taxes the price of a Disney Pass. Because I go there to train, I go there to meet, greet. It's part of my business. So my tax man allows me to take it off on my taxes. So that's cool. It's really cool. Yeah, I appreciate it. Really, I do. And I get the main pass. I have the Dream Key Pass. So the Dream Key Pass gets me 1% off of the food, 1% off of merchandise, although I don't really shop a lot. However, I got to tell you, I did shop. I had some Disney points, and they said, move it or lose them or whatever they said. I can't remember what they said. They said something that said act now. And I got this guy. I got this Stitch. My favorite color is green. I love green. And he is so cute. And then to find out he's also a Tinkerbell, which Tinkerbell is something in my, so he's cute. They call it the Stitch Crashes Disney, and he's number, what did he say? He's number 11. So I went and looked at all the others, but I really love this one. So I just grabbed this one. I don't need a whole set of Stitches. But I really love this one. Some of them aren't that cute, in my opinion, anyway. So I don't need a set, but I love this one. And it has the little wings on the back. It's so adorable. It wasn't very expensive. As long as you don't buy it aftermarket on eBay, they're kind of getting expensive. But it's really cute. And I love this sort of leather-like material on the back here and here. And then this has Peter Pan map and Peter and in the boat and everything, the Captain Hook's ship, and Peter Pan's right there. You see him right there. But he's just so cute. My favorite thing is the embroidery on the ear. That's actually embroidered in his sweet little ear. And this is actually sewn on the back. These are actually sewn. So I'm really about craftsmanship, but I absolutely fell in love with him and had to have him. So every once in a while, something will hit me occasionally. And I actually got him to go with the Grogu that I got on sale. So I just love this guy. I just think he's really cute and adorable and fun. So I grabbed him for my points that I was about to lose. And if I couldn't find anything for me, then, but that's kind of the way it is in that respect, Angie. But that's okay. We make lemonade out of lemons, and that means I can go anytime I want. A lot of times, if they give me something to create, if they give me tickets, okay, and I have to go down, sign in for them, blah 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 blah. It's a process. Of course, now with the process of having to make an actual appointment to go into Disneyland, it might be a little easier to do. But I'd have to look into that. And I have a pass, so I just make an appointment to get in there, and I got the parking and everything, and it's fine. It's fine. I love it, and I can deduct it, so I'm happy. What did I do for Hasbro? Gosh, it's been a long time. It was a plush, but I can't remember. It was around the time I was working for Mattel, and I did Skipper Meets Tigger, a little tiny Tigger for Mattel Toys, and I signed him. I put it in his ear. You can't tell Mattel that you do that, but I can tell him now, because try and find that toy. Anyway, it was Barbie, the Skipper line, and Skipper had a friend, Janet, and Skipper, Janet, one of the other characters that knows Skipper, each had a Pooh character. So Skipper had Winnie the Pooh, and Janet had Tigger, and I did the Tigger. That's inside there. I didn't do anything else with the rest, with the dolls, just that one. Yeah. If you want to see that, just let me know. Okay? Yeah, I remember it was a plush. But there was a time when I was doing all kinds of things for toy lines, and just, like decks of cards. There's yours, there's yours, there's yours, there's yours. Nickelodeon, I did lots of SpongeBob, and I don't like that character. I became one of the best SpongeBob sculptors in the industry, and I finally fired myself from Nickelodeon because I was done being nitpicked on a sponge. So sometimes you just go, nah. Have I ever worked for peanuts, Joe? Have I ever worked for nothing because I love it? We were just talking about how if you are an artist, okay, you have this thing that you may have heard about called social media. And I'm teasing, of course. And it's great to just get with your friends and make something, okay? Don't wait to be authorized to make it. Get together and make something. If you got a bunch of talented friends, in the case of my husband and I, we have tons of talented friends, and we had one that was struggling with work, and we said, let's just get together and make something. Okay, you do your bit for the show. I'll do something for the show. My husband will shoot it and direct it because he's really good at it. I have a friend who is a costumer on a very major show, and she did her bit, so she made the costumes. I made the puppet. My husband shot it, and the person who needed work acted in it. Okay, and we did 3 episodes of it, and we did a horror host character, and basically like an Elvira or a Seymour, or Svengoolie. We kind of did our version. But when you do it for the internet, YouTube or whatever, you have to be very aware of intellectual property. Meaning you cannot show the entire movie, even if the movie is from the 50s, which is what we were doing. We were showing older films, like sci-fi monster movies from the 50s and 60s. And they're still owned by someone else. So you can only use the preview clips. And sometimes we use too much of that, and YouTube would come back and say, look, it's only this. Remember, you can only use this to intercut with your show. Which is too bad because, it was really cute with the show. But we decided, we were doing it the first time. We were trying to get into those fine lines where you're not invading intellectual property, but you're actually celebrating what it is. And it was really cute. We did 3 episodes. We loved it. We just loved it. But here's what happens, okay? We did it for our friend who is acting in the piece. We got together and we just made it happen. Okay, we invested our money. So peanuts, Joe. I made the puppet for my friend. I paid for the puppet, but of course I kept the rights to that puppet, and I still have him. I built a throne for this character that my friend was portraying. My husband and I built the throne, so we found a chair that looked pretty much like a throne, and I designed it so it was cool and scary, and then we shot it in his garage, which was tiny. We did set pieces. We did everything. And then she did the costumes, our costumer, and she invested their money. So this happens, you invest your bucks because you're getting together doing your thing. And it wasn't a lot. I think we did the whole thing for about, with everybody contributing their money, maybe, not my kick in. I think I kicked in materials. I mean, I kept it simple. I used materials I had around here already. So our cut, maybe we put in a few $100s, and I think overall it was like $1,000 or something for the show. And then we shot it on for the internet. We just did it on YouTube, just doop, 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 doop for YouTube. And we did 3. Did we have followers? Didn't care. Did we have anybody telling us we liked the show or dislike? We didn't care. We didn't care. We were doing it to create momentum. You see, a step in any direction, even if it's the wrong one, creates the wonderful M word, momentum. And once you get into the momentum of doing something, you tend to bring on the karma or the power, or God looks down and says you're worthy and sprinkles upon you something. And this guy got a pretty huge gig, and he got so busy he couldn't do the show anymore. So we never did the other episodes. It served its purpose. So we only done 3. And the puppet's here, and I don't know what happened. I think he kept the throne. But it was cool what we did. I remember for the set walls, we wanted to have like a brick, like a slimy brick wall, like Seymour had. Seymour, my favorite, actually. But anyway, Larry Seymour Vincent did this slimy wall thing. They had this plastic wrap, like a table, one of those like plastic table covers that was brick, and we spray painted cardboard and stuck that on the side and then put that around as our set. So seriously, guys, you don't have to pay a lot of money. You just have to get together with your friends and say, how much have we got? And you pull out, I got 25, I got 30, whatever you got. And then you make it, and you're having so much fun, and it's putting you in the right spirit, not the, oh, poor me spirit, but the spirit of getting together and doing something. And that may not go anywhere like this piece, but it created enough momentum that our person we were helping got work. So yeah, lots of peanuts, Joe. And sometimes no peanut in the peanut because we were paying for it. But it was great. It was great. And it's something that we do all the time. My husband also did a documentary for a friend of ours. We found out that the intellectual property was so great that they couldn't do any. We were hoping it could get on TCM because it's such a beautiful doc, but it has so much involved because he was so involved in films. He was involved with so many films and so many people. He used to do a Halloween show based on films. He was so brilliant on so many levels, and knew so many people that are brilliant, including these directors and stuff. And a lot of them interviewed on this. It's a beautiful documentary, but we have to give it to people. We can't sell it because it invades intellectual property. So if you're doing it and you're giving it as a gift, and many people invested, put together that, a lot of high-end people, because they wanted to do this for the person that the documentary was about. And it was all a labor of love. But understand, labors of love create momentum. And I think this one did too. We actually gave a copy to Tony Baxter, and Tony Baxter was kind of feeling low. I mean, every artist feels low, and Tony Baxter is not immune. And he was feeling low, and my husband gave it to him because we love Tony. Tony was my boss and my mentor and my champion for years, and still is. And we gave him this, and he went to his home and watched it and said, and called my husband and said, "Wow, that is brilliant. Wow. Thank you that put me in a good mood. Oh, that made me so happy." So it really is a great documentary. It's beautiful, but my friend, Greg Nicotero, who is the director of Walking Dead and many other great stuff. I think he's doing a lot of Shudder stuff now. It's brilliant, another brilliant brain. He worked hard to try to help us get to the people we wanted and get to the studios to see if the studios would just grant us this one thing for this person, because this person is amazing. And they said, no, that we'll grant it for millions of dollars. You can use that clip if you pay us gazillion dollars. And we didn't have a gazillion dollars. We just put it together because we loved it. So sometimes they say yes, and sometimes they say no. And this time many said no. So we have to keep it to, very intimate. We don't even put it on a private channel. So because we don't want everybody involved to get, and I'm not making a joke. I mean, they will come after us. They made it clear. So we don't want to do that. But it's great. It's a great doc. But it's a labor of love. So what am I saying? It catapulted others. It created momentum that others started getting work that was having a little trouble getting work. And that's because it puts you in the right head zone, And you never know what that energy is going to do. So that's why I say, get with your friends and make something and then put it on the internet. It's a good thing. I'm almost at 3 hours anyway. There I go. Yada, yada, yada. I have the Oswald pins and statue and I love them. Oh, Darren, that's good. Yay. Good for you for being quick on the trigger on that. I have a few cats left if you like the Cheshire Cat. I need some Club 33 friends, LOL. Yeah, we can talk more about that in the Patreon page. I don't want to say too much about that publicly. Just don't want to. I went to Club 33 just once, says Joe, in 2002. It was nice, and my martini was pretty decent, but I kind of felt like it was overrated. Nice atmosphere and service was good, but for the price, I can't say the food, not my socks off, wasn't bad, just kind of meh. Now, 2002, I don't know. When did Kim Irvine redo the Club 33? From the side door that was so secret people had trouble finding it, including myself, or now it's the big door and you got to be blind because it's right across Pandora. It's huge and you can't miss it. Were you there before or after? Because your answer may help me to help you on that comment that you just did. By comparison, in 2005, when my sister and I went to the Milky Way restaurant in West LA, Spielberg's mom's place, her tuna stuffer sandwich was the greatest tuna sandwich in all of human history. Is that place still open? I've never been, but I would love to go. I would love to go there. Let me know if that's still open. It sounds phenomenal. Musso and Frank's has got some great stuff on Hollywood Boulevard, and they are over 100 years old. They have so much history. Don't miss going to Musso and Frank's if you haven't been. Boysenberry is my favorite berry. Obviously, boysenberry pie is the best kind of berry pie, and Knott's has it. Knott's has boysenberry is Knott's legacy. They talk about it a lot. They have boysenberry wine. They have boysenberry cocktails. They have boysenberry pie. They have boysenberry tea. They have boysenberry. I mean, boysenberry is apparently amazing, and so this is one of the reasons, because boysenberry is something I love, and we're gonna go and check it out for sure at some point. So you ought to too, Joe. And Bob says he agrees. Kramer versus Kramer in Sense Around. Not necessarily the movie I would choose, but okay. Joe, you're crazy. Mrs. Godzilla carrying a purse, curly blonde wig, earrings, big eyelids, and big red lips. No. Curlers. Yeah, she was like this, and she was wearing curlers wrapped in a scarf, and she was parading down Disneyland because they didn't want to pay the intellectual property of Godzilla. Yeah, so do you see what I mean? You change it a little bit and stuff, you can do that, but if you're actually using footage, you can't do that. Intellectual property can be a very hairy thing. But if you're someone out there that wants to be an Imagineer, pretend you are and make it happen and then post it on the internet. The nice thing about the internet is stuff is dated. So you don't have to worry too much. I mean, someone could steal it, but you could prove that you did it before. Just pull that clip, take a screenshot of that clip, look at the date, and bingo, you're there. Ba-bam, right? So that's what I'm talking about as an artist. This can happen. The Spielberg family reopened the Milky Way a couple of years ago, but the menu is a little different. So it's still open. Okay, I'll have to look it up because I'm a foodie. I love to eat at restaurants. So that's a fun one. It sounds like a fun one. But Club 33, if you did it when it was the classic way Walt had planned it, okay? And with this, I'll exit. Walt had it to where you could have brunch, you could have lunch, you could have dinner. And it always cost a few bills to do that. And it was a nice experience, but as Joe says, it didn't really wow you other than to be up there and seeing the pictures and seeing where dignitaries were there and you could get a cocktail and everything. It was great. It was great. But after Kim Irvine got a hold of it, and some people got upset about this, but I have to say that I was grateful to her. And I don't usually say this because I'm a purist, but Kim Irvine created what's called the Lounge. And the Lounge is spectacular. It's whimsical. It's magical. It's lovely. But you must go with a Club 33 member to view it. And when you go in, it is wonderful. And you don't have to pay $300 or $400 to be a part of Club 33. You can get tea and cakes. You can get a cocktail and a dessert. You can just have a cocktail. You can have appetizers. You can, more cash, relaxed, kick back, and it's just lovely. The lounge is beautiful, very comfy chairs, magic happening throughout. Lots of magical things occur and happen, including a piano that plays itself. And then sometimes you get lucky and have a piano player playing it. It's just got some great stuff, guys. And it's so much nicer since Kim and the Imagineers came and redid it. It just made it more a place, because a lot of Club 33 are people. A lot of them go up to just sort of chill in between the storms of Disney. If Disney gets too crowded, they scoot up to the Club 33 to just have a drink and chill and relax and breathe and it's just marvelous. It's just marvelous place to be. And I loved it. And I had several people that would go every Sunday. And if I was at the park before the pandemic on Sunday, I would text them and say, do you mind if I come up and we have a drink? And they would go, of course, we'd love that. And if they had friends, they'd introduce me to the friends, and I would tell stories to the friends and reciprocate in the best I can, because I don't want to be, I'm not about taking, I'm about mutual giving. And so it's wonderful. I just think she did a great job. And there's one particular woman that I really enjoy who is a Club 33 member. She knows, she's made it a point to tell you all the history and all the special things that are there. So if I take somebody up, if she's sweet enough to let me take somebody up on her nickel, well, not really her nickel, but her Club 33 membership, then she goes around and gives them a tour. And she's always so gracious about it, so sweet, so generous. And they just love it. They just love it. One time we were up there and Bob Gurr was up there and he taught them how to take a photo. If you've ever been with Mark and Carrie, Tinkerbell, she goes, okay, we're going to take a photo. Look down, count to 3, look up, click, look down, look up, click. And the reason she does that is because sometimes the light is in your eyes. And if you stay there too long, it's like a deer in the headlight, and you get all scratchy face. So she has you look down, relax your face. This is a entertainer's trick. And then she says, okay, look up and smile, click, you see? So that way your eyes are wide and your face is bright and all that kind of stuff. So, yep. Bob has a different thing. He's about lighting, background, how you frame a shot. He's kind of fun. It's kind of his other thing that he loves to do. Bob Gurr, I'm speaking of. So, it's neat. It's neat. It was neat. And it's not always a Club 33. Whenever you see Bob Gurr, if you take a picture with Bob Gurr, he's going to show you how to shoot it. And that's just an added bonus, in my opinion. Yeah, just an added bonus. Bob Berdine says, when I went to Club 33, it was way before the refreshment. And the Club 33 before was lovely, but now it's better. It's just better. The food is excellent. They had a chicken that comes in a like a crock pot little thing, and it was so delicious. It was so amazing. And my friend who is a Club 33-er, he's kind of a jokester. He kept saying it was the pigeons that were on top of the roof. That's why it was so good. It was not chicken at all. It was the pigeons. And for some reason that hit a funny bone on me, and we were laughing, but crazy. But anyway, it's wonderful. And Bob, I know what you mean. You got it. We got to get you in. All of you got to get in if you can, because it's lovely. And the food is delicious, by the way. It's really lovely. I had a friend who was a server there, and he passed away, one of my favorite people in the world. And he passed away. So it wasn't it's still fun, but he used to have me up as well. So yeah, it's a great place. It's a good restaurant. It's wonderful. Hey, guys, we're just under 3 hours. And I want to thank you for joining me. You hung in there pretty well. I hope you have a lovely weekend. Please come and see me Monday. Richard, go over, and you did already, actually, asked to be in the Facebook group. So I asked you to do that. I already took care of you. You're in there. I saw that. And we have another person, Wesley. And then we have, let me just look. I was going to say to Audrey, I missed you, sweetheart. I love the character introductions in the beginning of Moon Knight. So Audrey knows about Moon Knight. And so she's another one. She's in the tribe too. So she might be able to talk to us. She just joined as well. And so I look forward to learning about Audrey and stuff like that. So I don't mean to make it tribe centric, but that's where you get to dig deep into some of this stuff, because I don't want to spoil it for the public. And we are a group that kind of, do we want to get into specifics? Do we want to rate? And we have a vote. And then on the Zoom channel, not a lot of people join, but those that do have a great time. So you're welcome to join every Wednesday when there is one. Last Wednesday, I had to do something else, but usually I'm there as consistently as I can because I promise. So you got a lot of content for your $5 a month, and I hope you will consider adding your voice to the tribe. I love you guys. You're special. You're wonderful. And sorry about that, Audrey. I looked for you. I saw you there. And I was like, "Hey, my girl, where's Audrey?" So there you are. And Bob says, "Welcome to all new patrons." And Diane says she joined the tribe today. I will send you. Thank you for giving me that shout out. Diane, go ahead and go over, look for Terri's Tribe Facebook page and ask to join. I'm going to send you the link. So, but since you're right here on Facebook already, just Google Terri's Tribe and ask to join, and then I will invite you in. But I'm going to send you the letter and the link because I always do, and then that way I will go right now and send you a welcome letter. Thank you for joining, mwah, and also get you into the Facebook page and kind of talk to people, chat with people, introduce yourself, and share. And then ask about the spotlight, both you and Audrey, and see if it's something you want to do. Just ask in the Facebook page. We've got several people who have done it and doing it. It's not scary. It's a lot of fun, and we'd love to learn about you too. Okay. I love you guys. Have a lovely, here's Bob saying welcome. And I hope more of you will join, and thank you for joining. And I'm so excited to see you next week. Have a lovely weekend. Hugs, kisses, be well, do something nice for someone else. It'll make you feel a whole lot better. And consider creating momentum. All right, guys. I love you a bunch. We'll talk soon. All right.